because you're very brave for showing up because, as I was saying before, I found the word. Hand drill is it's intimidating. Even though it's one of the simplest ones to make, it's, you know what, is that sorry? Okay. Because it's my ADD. So, as good as it's one of the simplest ones to make, it's also one of the most dangerous in the sense that out of all the methods, like all the methods I'm going over this year, all of them, this is the one that is going to injure you. And the thing is that you will injure yourself. You will have done it to yourself, and you don't even know why you did it or how that actually happened is the problem. So there are things you may have heard in the past regarding hand drill, especially the just keep spinning it until you get a coal, and even if you destroy your hands. That's one of the things we really need to go over tonight. So I have a list of things I really want to go over. There's so many places to start. I'm not sure which place to start. So, if you've ever have this drawing of, I call it the evolutionary, because you're very brave for showing up because, as I was saying before, I found the word. Hand drill is it's intimidating. Even though it's one of the simplest ones to make, it's, you know what, is that sorry? Okay. Because it's my ADD. So, as good as it's one of the simplest ones to make, it's also one of the most dangerous in the sense that out of all the methods, like all the methods I'm going over this year, all of them, this is the one that is going to injure you. And the thing is that you will injure yourself. You will have done it to yourself, and you don't even know why you did it or how that actually happened is the problem. So there are things you may have heard in the past regarding hand drill, especially the just keep spinning it until you get a coal, and even if you destroy your hands. That's one of the things we really need to go over tonight. So I have a list of things I really want to go over. There's so many places to start. I'm not sure which place to start. So, if you've ever have this drawing of, I call it the evolutionary tree of fire methods. So, from the ground, there's 4 roots, right? The 4 roots are 4 main skills you need for friction fire making. So you have woodworking, you have stone tool. This is if you're doing it like paleo, absolutely primitive. Woodworking, stone tool making, cordage making, and plant and tree identifications. So these 4 skills are really necessary for being really good at friction fire making. And then you go up the trunk of the tree, and so with these 4 things you could do friction fire making. Now here the tree splits into 2 places. The tree splits into axis and drill methods, all methods that spin, like the set that Kevin made there. Like it's a crutch drill, toggle drill set, right? Because it can be both, right? All manner of drill sets. Gaucho's drill, all the drill sets. The other side of the tree is all linears. Linears are fire plow, fire saw, and there's a fire thong, which is rattan and bamboo. So these are like strips of bamboo that go back and forth this way. So all three of the linears, fire plow, fire saw, and fire thong, are skill intensive. Like they're very, because it's only two devices. So you have a blade and a base, and it's just you doing the work. So there's two pieces, that's more work. Okay, you have a fire saw. So you have a blade and you have a base. And it's you doing all the work. And then you have a fire thong, which is a blade and a base. And it's you doing all the work. Well, of the drills, hand drill is the core too. It's only a spindle and a base. And you're doing all the effort. So the least amount of devices there are, the more effort it takes on your part to spin. So this is one of the reasons why hand drill is intimidating, because it's all up to you, like 100% up to you, whether you get it or not, right? And it ends up being like a holy grail of methods, because it's supposed to be like one of the quickest, easiest ones to make, and it requires a lot of skill on your part, and it's probably the one most universally known across the globe, right? So, but the thing is, it requires a lot of technique. It is, I was saying before, it is paradoxically more complicated than a lot of the other methods that I've taught. Even though other methods have more devices, right? The easier they actually get to use. Once you see them, one of the things I do is I demonstrate, and you can see, oh, okay, I can see how that works, and I can see how that works, and I can see how that works, and that's fine. Now, I could do the same thing with hand drill. I'm like, oh, that looks really easy. But to be able to sustain doing that without injury, without a little bit of guidance, you're just going to end up injuring yourself like over and over and over and over. That's really the point I'm trying to avoid today, is that when you leave here, not only do you not injure yourself, but you don't teach others to injure themselves. This is one of the problems with the culture surrounding hand drill. People will teach others to injure themselves. It's not okay. It's not okay.
You're teaching a bad technique.
It's bad technique, and it's a bad ideology to just do it that way. So if you go on YouTube and you search Maasai, the Maasai tribe in Africa, you search Maasai and I think hand drill, what you're going to find is usually a video of a bunch of like 4 or 5 guys fight Maasai in a circle, and they each take 1 or 2 spins down the spindle each. So one guy does it, and then another guy's actually ready to just do it again, and another guy's ready to do it, and another guy's ready to take over. One of the reasons for this is because the materials they use is harder material. And what they've learned, like with toggle drill, is that one of the best resources you can have is actually another person. Because like when you do toggle drill, your other resource is another human being.
I also noticed, because I looked at a lot of those videos, the stalks are very long.
They are long.
And they seem like they bow a lot because they are so long.
Yes. And I don't know what, obviously it's African material, so I don't know what they are. And I wouldn't know where to begin how to identify them. But it really looks to me that they're not plant spindles. Like they're like wood. And I think they're solid, if I'm correct.
Well, I'm heading out there in August, so I'll let you know.
Are you really?
Yeah.
What's
do hand drill?
Well, I'm going to go, taking the kids on a safari trip for a couple weeks.
Are you really?
Wow.
And some of it's going to be going to the Maasai. We're going to visit some of those places, and I got some guides hooked up to do some tracking.
Oh, nice.
Okay, okay.
Gosh,
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
Make
So
sure
I'll
you-
let you know what I find out.
Make sure you take video.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I want to see that.
Drink any blood?
Probably.
Milk and blood.
Probably.
Milk and blood.
Well, sometimes you get the special clot too.
Yeah.
Way better than that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they shoot it out.
they don't do that as much as they, I think they make it out.
They make right.
Yeah.
All right. So, right. All right. So, step one of not injuring yourself is understanding what a floatable hand drill looks like, what a floatable one is, and what a not floatable one is. So really I want to separate hand drills into those two categories. I want you, when you leave here, to think that there's only two kinds of hand drills. Hand drills you could float, that you could do by yourself and not injure yourself, and hand drills that will injure you. There's two kinds of hand drills. It starts with selection of the right materials. Because you could be out in the woods and you could see something like this out in the woods and your brain just goes, that's a hand drill. It looks like a hand drill. It's straight. It's about the right size. It's arrow-like. I think that would be really great. Well, you're on the right track. But now the question is it floatable or is it not floatable? Is this gonna be okay? Or am I gonna like wreck my hands open? So that's really where I want you to be after tonight. So just so I don't just keep talking, which I really don't like. I forget who gave me this river cane, but it's like the best river cane ever. So these are my top 5 for New Jersey, and I'm gonna go over why. Okay, I'm gonna go over why.
We'll have access to this video, right?
He puts them on YouTube.
The whole world will.
Everybody?
What's that?
He's wondering about accessing the video.
Oh yeah.
On Facebook?
As soon as I have a moment, I just post the whole thing online. The whole, pretty much unedited.
So
pretty much,
I don't
yeah.
have to take pictures or anything.
If you want to, you're allowed to
Actually,
take.
good.
You're allowed to take your own video. You're allowed to take your own pictures. I got nothing to hide here, and I don't care. Nothing is behind like a paywall or anything like that. So, let's start from the point of view that I have already collected and I have already prepared spindle and board. We're just starting from there for a minute, just so I can, just so I'm not just going blah 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 blah. Right? There's enough of that. Because it's a dojo. We're supposed to do stuff here. We're not supposed to just talk about stuff here. Okay, so this board is Western Red Cedar. All right, you can see that everything is pre-carved. Okay, so this river cane is, and I'm going to discuss this, 7/16 of an inch in diameter, which is my size. All right, so we're starting from a point where everything is kind of done. How I like to start is I take,
What do you mean your size? fits your hand?
my size, right? So I take one drop of a hand lotion, and there's two reasons for this. One is moisture is good for your hand, because if your hands are dry, like mine are in winter, right? You have no grip if your hands are dry, and the spindle is dry, your hands are dry, you have no friction in order to keep your hands in one place. You have no friction to be able to do that. So a little moisture allows you to be able to hold on to the spindle. The second reason for a drop of lotion is so I don't have to spit in my hands. Because you don't want to do that. You just don't want to like spit in your hands. And you don't want to like rub this on that spindle. And you don't want to like, because you wouldn't spit in your hand and like go to shake someone's hand, right? So we're just kind of like being thoughtful of each other, because you never know who's going to use this next, right? Or whatever. So one drop, and you rub that in, this is what I do. I'm not telling you what to do, this is what I do. I rub this in until there's no greasy feeling, until there's friction. Like there's actually friction now. But my hands are not dry anymore. Alright, so that feels pretty good. So we're starting from the point of view everything is set up.
What was the salt, a cedar?
Yeah, it's just what is this? Incense cedar. So why, do you know the reason why we use the sawdust? Is because
Keep the coal in place?
not just that, but like
I assume it's
let's
fuel.
say yes.
It's fuel for the coal once it starts to develop.
Let's
It's
say
insulation to
let's
it?
say I'm spinning and there's nothing here. Okay? So dust will go to the floor. And see how far
It's cool.
there's no abrasion. You can hear the squeak. There's no abrasion friction yet.
So it's not mated yet.
It's not, it's still in the process of mating, right? So let's call this a floatable hand drill, which is what it is. All right, a floatable hand drill is one where pressure is required less, which is really important because pressure is what causes injury. It's the pressure of pushing inward and downward that causes injury. So the floating method, which is like itsy bitsy spider, exaggerated. So one hand shoots down, the other shoots up. One hand shoots down and back up again. The other shoots down and up the opposite way. So when you first start doing this, you actually do it really slow. And the point is to keep the rounded tip. This should not be like a flat tip with a 90-degree edge on it because you're injuring yourself. There should be a nice gentle roundness to this so you don't injure your hand. You don't even have to look because you should even be able to feel that the tip stays in one place the entire time between your hands. The technique you're working on is going from fingertip to tip of the palm to fingertip to tip of the palm because you're maximizing rotations, right? So if you look at this spot here, right? So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 turns. Which is why when you see somebody going like this, they're basically doing like 1, maybe 1.5 turns. You want to maximize rotations. 4, 4, 4. Like the most you can get with your hands. And then when you get comfortable with that, you start increasing your speed. When you're practicing, you're just using enough downward pressure to just hold it in place so that this doesn't just pop out. Okay?
Is that a oil-based, water-based, or just whatever, just
It's,
something?
I don't have mine, so I
Right.
stole my wife's.
Okay.
It even smells good. What is this? One of the things that happens when you're using a spindle and you use a water base, you spit on your hands, is the spindle just absorbs all the moisture out of your hand.
Oh, right.
Like it's literally just drawing the moisture out, and then you're like, your hands are dry again. That'll happen with water. The sound has changed, right? Speed, whoops. Speed and rotations.
Very nice. Very nice.
So the diameter, top and bottom, is obviously different. You're
Yeah,
using the
obviously,
larger-
because, yeah,
So you use the larger diameters on the bottom.
yes.
So you're getting to, so you're maximizing the amount of turn.
What you want to
relative
focus on really is making sure that you as the spinner, this is a comfortable size. Like it can't feel like you're spinning something like this, right? It also can't feel like you're it also can't feel like you're spinning something like this. Like there's too thick and there's too thin. Right? Because when it's too thin, it's your hands that are rubbing together. It's really hard to keep your focus on your hand on that tiny dowel. Your hands end up rubbing together, which is you're just putting unnecessary friction back into your hands. You don't want to do that. So getting this size correct, where your hands are separated enough, but it's very comfortable for you, is really key. Okay? So that's why it's a dojo. 'Cause we do stuff, right? What really makes a very easy, and it took me a long time to explain why, but I'm like, what makes a really easy call like that take place? 95% of that is making sure you have the right material, is finding the right material. You'll go in the woods and you'd be like, that looks like a hand drill. Well, it's probably not. It may be. You don't know until you've tried these what is floatable and what is not floatable. If I tried, this is I think it's pine. So this is pine. These are actually Vogel woods. Here's Spanish cedar. This one's solid, right? This is just a dowel I made. It's not ready for anything, right? In order to get this going, I would have to hold myself up because I need my body weight on this. And as I'm spinning, all I'm gonna do is end up going down. Then I have to stop, go back up to the top, go here, push in and down, and I'm just falling down. And when we watch the Maasai, right, they just go like all out and they're pressing really hard, and they get down there pretty quick. And because this is clear, that's where another guy jumps in, because the space is open. They know to just keep going because they have to keep this hot. So, all right, so where do I go from here? The problem with, as simple as hand drill is, it's more complicated than they think. So, all right. Assuming you have floatable material, you've collected floatable material and you've processed it, right? Let's focus on the technique. So, of how you would practice. How do you practice floating? How you practice floating is not by focusing on getting a cold. You should just not care about getting a cold. In fact, your materials, this is all my opinion, by the way. Here's what I do. I go to Home Depot or Lowe's, either one. And as we were saying, there's either oak or there's poplar. Like, those are your choices. So, if you go into the dowel section where they sell dowels, they're definitely gonna have 3/8 of an inch. They're gonna have 7/16 of an inch. And they're gonna have a 1/2 inch. Okay? So here's what I recommend. Get oak, get the red oak. Get a red oak 3/8 inch. Get a red oak 7/16. Get a red oak 1/2 inch. And there's also going to be like small boards like this of red oak. So you get those 4 things, okay? The dowels are not going to be exactly this height. They're going to be like 3 feet or 4 feet long. All right, so you can give one to a friend. These are cut to what? 18?
Is that middle one 7/16?
7/16. 7/16. So this is 8. These are cut to 18. These are cut to 18 inches. Just
Says 20 to 24 on it.
yeah, that's if you're selecting. So for practice, these happen to be 18. You could start at 24. Here's this, so the height is also another thing. It's not just diameter size. This is really complicated for something so simple. Okay, Now there's the U factor, okay? So the U factor, let's say I do 7/16, right? What is your position? Is your position triangular? And you're on top of it like this, which you see me, like I started off doing. But then there's also the one kneeling position, right? So, which is more comfortable, right? Because this one's like 20, right? This is 18, this is like 20. So here, for the kneeling position, the 20 seems rather nice, right? Like I'm just over it. This is kind of like right at shoulder heart height, right? I can clear. I have plenty of space. But you know, doing it this way, this may change your height position. Like you may get lower, you could be higher. So it's good to play with different heights as well. But usually you want to start when you're selecting, you want to start high, and then it's okay to cut down. But once it's short, you can't make it longer. So collect as long a piece as you can when you're selecting. Because chances are, like, it'll be straight, and then it gets a little crooked. Well, it's okay to just cut that crooked part off. You don't have to keep it at 24. 20 is good. 18 is good. Like, you're going to be fine. So, because one of the major components that's really important is that it's really straight. So, you're going to have these three sizes, and what you want to do is round the end that you're going to be practice floating with, and you're going to, what's your favorite Netflix series? The Crown? Like, what is it? Like, whatever, right? And you're watching TV, and you're just going to be doing that. And annoy everybody that's watching TV. Yep. If you're watching the show, you're going to be focused on something else. Like, this is where you fit this in. This has to just become body memory. Like, you don't even think about it. You don't even have to look at what you're doing, because you could feel the tip in between the middle of your hand, right along your middle finger. Like, you just feel it. And then you're going to mix it up with a different size. Right? And then you're going to do 1/2 inch. And you don't care, you're not caring about getting it cold. You're just working on your technique.
So when you're going from one size to another, should you have like 3 different notches for the different
No.
sizes? No. Okay.
Just one big notch.
Okay.
And just, they all go in there.
So you're not trying to find the size that fits you then?
You're trying to find the dowel size that you,
Oh, so
you
you are
know
doing
you
that.
like. Right? So I already know, like, 7/16 is my groove. I love 7/16. But you practice 3/8 so that you're just used to having something smaller than you really like, for me, and something slightly larger than I prefer, and I'm just comfortable doing that. But once, usually, and I find this for most people, once you leave this range where it's larger than 1/2 inch or smaller than 3/8 of an inch, you should just avoid that drill. Like, that drill's, find a better drill. Better to find better materials than it is to fix materials. Better to find best materials than it is to fix materials. Your selection process has to be, until you know what you're looking for, This is also is going to help you know what you're looking for. You're going to go out in the woods and you're going to be like, that looks pretty good. That looks like a good half inch. Until you take the bark off. And then you take the bark off and it's not a half inch anymore. It's 7/16, maybe 3/8 inch. And like, this is what I thought I was getting. You ever had to skin a rabbit? Skin a squirrel? There's like, you take the hide off and all the fur comes off and you're like, there's, like this is 3 bites. This is 3 bites of it. Like you feel bad, like you killed this thing for like 3 bites. Like, is it right? So that's what it is. Like, I'm sorry I collected this. Like, it's not what I thought it was gonna be. Oh my god, so needy. I know, who are all these people? What are they doing here?
How big is your hole on the board?
Oh, it's probably 5/8.
Oh, okay.
I know, I just took a round bit and I just like
Yeah.
drilled in there. Like, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Like,
matter.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
What matters is that I'm not going like that. Like, just don't even think about what's going on. Think about this. So, one of the ways that I also like to practice, okay, is you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you buy these grindstones that are in the drill section, like where you buy drill bits. You're gonna find these cone-shaped grinders, right? So I shoved one inside this bamboo because it's slightly hollow. And so what you do is you just take like a random piece of wood, put a notch in it with your knife, so that just sits there, right? And just start drilling into the wood. The difference between the grindstone and this is that this is actually providing a little bit of resistance. You're actually abrading. Here you're not abrading, but here you're abrading. You're actually going into the wood. And because it's cone-shaped, it makes it harder to go into the wood. So you're getting a little bit more resistance, So it's really working your technique even more when you do it.
How do you know if you're getting the right amount of downward pressure versus just moving in?
You don't worry about that now.
Okay. So right now it's just getting it to go back and forth.
Right
You're not
now,
worried about pressure down.
this should be your sole focus, getting this down. So
Have you?
with really excellent materials, the majority of what you're doing, is rotations and speed. With excellent materials. With just enough pressure. Like you saw me hardly bearing down at all, right? Like when you have to bear down this thing is like right beside your head, and you're putting all your body weight on this thing, and you're going all the way down, and you're like you've seen people do that, right?
Well, then it's not floating.
It's not that. That's not floating. That's not floating, and that is how you injure yourself. That is injury to your hands.
Have you ever gotten nodules on your tendons like trigger finger?
No, because I think I stopped. So
That's one of the reasons I avoided hand for all these years.
see these hands?
Don't do that.
You know whose hands those are? These are my hands. And that's 2013. In 2013, I said,
No more.
no more. Absolutely, like, that's it. I'm done. So, I have not had a blister or a callus. I've changed my technique since 2013. And I'm just preaching that this is really the way
You're not putting any pressure on any necessary spots.
No one,
Because,
no.
like I said,
No, because your training keeps you from doing hot spots and main pressure points. You're actually mindfully focusing on spreading it out as much as you possibly can. The key is that when you move from this to the perfect material which you have collected, your technique plus perfect material equals a call. Non-floatable material is a different story. There's a different technique for that, which we'll go over this afternoon. So, any questions on training?
How long is it, like, how long should you do that a day?
Oh,
minutes.
So you can, if you want, set yourself up and then go and do 60 seconds, right? And if you want, like at 60 seconds, you take a break, and then you could start again, take a break. Now, it's up to you, because it's your life, how you want to train. So it's either you're doing something where you don't really need to pay attention, like I'm saying, like you're watching a show or TV or Netflix already, and you just do it for a couple minutes. Or you can be like actually mindful and looking at what you're doing at first, but making sure that you're doing it over a period of time, because it's actually time. That's really the key. It's not like the linears, which are really intense, fast and intense. This really takes a little bit of patience. It's more marathon-like, so when you're doing it right.
You have New Jersey's top 5 and then your favorite?
My River Cane is my favorite.
Yeah.
You can find that in some spots in
The
there.
problem with River Cane is it's all the way in like Cape May. Like I think that's it, Cape May. And then you could find it in other southern states like Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina.
Yeah, I found some before.
Right. There's a caretaker, Dax. He's down in Cape May. He goes, you gotta come down here. There's a lot of River Cane. I'm like, oh.
I was down at Conrad, I gathered some up a couple of years ago.
Did you?
Lift is always
Yeah. Velvet leaf is also an excellent cordage plant.
Nicole, did you get one?
That's great.
I did not. Thank you.
So that's how I train now. So when I'm in front of the TV, I just use the grindstone on a
Your
piece
wife
of wood.
must love you.
So notice Mullins not on the list.
Yes,
Yeah, what,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go to. So that's what the sheet is for.
Okay.
I'm telling you, there's a lot to go over today. Like this is really complicated for something so simple. So
Can I slide this in there?
absolutely, sure.
These are both ready.
No, I just pull it open.
I think we'll put you on for later.
And you just keep this on so you know that's the one?
Like I could spot that right away and know that that's my spindle. So
So you want to use a softer board, otherwise it just eats this away.
Right, right,
And then you've got to
right.
get a new one.
that's an important variable that you should always keep in mind. Is that whatever wood is softer is going to get eaten. So if the board is soft, if the board material is softer than the spindle material, you're going to drill through the board. So both materials should be of near equal hardness. Right?
Now, you're just using red oak because that's all they sell.
Because you don't want, yeah.
And you're not
And you
trying
don't
to make
care.
it cold.
You're not trying to get a coal. Your focus is on your technique.
Are these in any certain order?
None. Although one board might be about wall thickness, which I'm gonna explain. Like again, it's really complicated.
Yeah.
Wall thickness.
Now, Joe, from this position, like I guess you don't have to be all the way up here if this feels a little better to
So
me.
when you're actually trying to get a coal,
Right.
right?
Then you would want to be as high as you
You
can.
sort of want to be in the position that you would be in
Right.
if you were
Gotcha.
actually trying. You
Yeah.
don't really want to be in a position where
You're not gonna.
you're not. It's,
Doing it
it's
like-
not the position that you're.
Right.
It's like if you were training martial arts.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You wouldn't be in a position of like training with someone if that wasn't actually the position that you would want to be in. So
That makes sense.
now you're taller than I am,
Right.
obviously. So it's like
Yeah.
your positioning is obviously going to be different than mine.
And you may need another 6 inches.
Or
Yeah, that would
Right.
probably
Yeah.
feel a little better.
It's actually the Mallow family.
Is that even thicker?
that's pine.
Oh,
it's a
that-
half inch
Oh,
pine.
it is
Yeah.
higher. Oh.
I know though, if it's super fast growing plant.
There's an open field over there that I've been meaning to. I've been meaning to collect it all winter, and now I'm afraid it's too far gone now. So
I mean, you get a lot of snow over the winter, so
maybe it's worth a walk over there later. So
Alex, want to make a trip to Home Depot on the way back?
So it's just like that? And you said
So your
keep it-
focus is on trying to get from fingertip to palm. Now, right now, you're not working on speed at all. Like, that's not your thing. Your thing is to like get your hand technique down, keeping it straight so that it doesn't wobble. Right? Getting your tactile feel for exactly where the tip is in your hand. And then eventually, like, just not pick a knot anymore. It's a lot better. So getting this down will be more important than anybody getting their cold today. Like, this is really important. So I just don't want to, there's no pressure on anyone. Do you ever get enough attention?
That's just like my dog. You can pet her all day. It's just they'll be nudging you for more. It's like, God, go
So, like,
outside.
when you guys are not here, right? I'm like working, getting stuff ready, and he comes up and he's like, he's actually going like this to me with my hands while I'm trying to work. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just plops down. If I stop paying attention, he just nudging again.
you putting a flat part on the bottom? Or?
Flat part on the bottom. The round part is between your
That's what I thought.
hands, yeah.
Kind of.
counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Because
So generally, prickly lettuce is gonna have the right wall thickness, or every plant
no,
is
again,
gonna
it's still selection.
be- Okay.
So I'll repeat it for Nicole. Is you these 10 things
Yep.
are what you're looking for. You're not really looking for a name.
Yep.
The thing about the name is that the name tends to have more of the 10 qualifications you're looking for. So you want to think in qualifications, you don't want to think of the name. Because you're going to come across like a prickly lettuce, but it's going to look like this.
Yeah, a lot of them are
Like the
small.
one you find doesn't fall in the 10 qualifications. So, but I find these have a greater chance of falling in what you're looking for.
Have you ever made a salve out of that?
I'm sorry,
Painkiller salve out of prickly lettuce?
I haven't.
You ever seen what I'm talking about? It's because it's in the opiate.
I know it's got
in
it.
the opiate family, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
It makes a black tar salve. Seriously, really good topical pain relief.
I've never heard that. Have you ever heard that?
I've heard of it used not as a salve, but as a ingested.
They were well, I didn't see that part. These guys were all taking the latex and cooking it down until it actually turned black.
I'd never heard that.
Yeah, I never seen one with ingesting it. Were they eating the plant? Or you're not sure?
Extract
They're eating extract.
from the latex.
You seen that too?
No, just when
Oh,
you told
you're
me about it last time.
Prickly lettuce?
Told us me.
I did tell you that?
Yeah, one of our getaways.
Yeah. Because you can find like patches of that in Jersey. I never, it's been a while since I found something big down where I'm at. I'm in the Pine Barrens. So-
Yeah, there's less in the because New Jersey, you cut New Jersey in half. Like southern Jersey has a definite different ecosystem from North Jersey.
Did everybody try this?
Did you try that?
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
'Cause,
'Cause I don't know what you
all of southern New Jersey used to be underwater, it was under the ocean. And northern Jersey was
Yeah,
above
but
the ocean.
it's fertile on the western side in the floodplain of the Delaware, Sound, and Gloucester County, western Camden County. You get a lot of.
It's more, it's mountainous and just.
No, it's flat still, but it's not.
I mean, like,
It's like hardwood forest.
yeah.
The richer soils. It's not the sandy crap like I have. It's funny because when I find a tree that's not.
I think I got it.
First, don't do this. Just
It's
do
up,
this.
you got it up too high.
Just go straight across, and the top should be like in the middle, where
your
your
hand.
middle finger
What's
is.
that?
Yeah.
That should be in line with your middle finger.
That should be in there.
That should be in, this way.
You're only thinking of two things: rotations. You do speed later, but rotations and keeping it straight. Just keeping it centered. Yep.
Did your wife go to tracker school?
Yes. So she took standard,
Just
and both of us. I was an instructor, but we both ended up working in the office. So my wife ended up actually being manager for a while of Tracker, and I was an assistant manager. While I was in Southern Jersey has a definite different ecosystem from North Jersey.
Did everybody try this?
did you try that?
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
'Cause,
I don't know what you
all of Southern New Jersey used to be underwater, it was under the ocean, and Northern Jersey was
Yeah,
above
but
the ocean.
it's fertile on the western side in the floodplain of the Delaware, Sound, and Gloucester County, western Camden County. You get a lot of.
It's more, it's mountainous and just.
No, it's flat still, but it's not.
I mean, like,
It's like hardwood forest.
yeah.
The richer soils. It's not the sandy crap like I have. It's funny because when I find a tree that's not.
I think I got it.
First, don't do this. Just
It's
do
up,
this.
you got it up too high.
Just go straight across, and the top should be like in the middle, where
your
your
hand.
middle finger
What's
is.
that?
Yeah.
That should be in line with your middle finger.
That should be in there.
That should be in, this way.
You're only thinking of two things: rotations. You do speed later, but rotations and keeping it straight. Just keeping it centered. Yep.
Did your wife go to tractor school?
Yes, so she took standard,
Just
and both of us, I was an instructor, but we both ended up working in the office. So my wife ended up actually being manager for a while of Tracker, and I was an assistant manager while I was in nursing school, because I had started nursing school while I was still a Tracker.
that's when the school was in Asbury.
This is when we were 2 miles down the road.
Oh, was that close?
Yeah,
What,
Yeah.
when did he move?
that's why we bought in this area.
Oh.
It's because we worked over there. Yeah. So
When did
we're
he,
like-
did he move the late 90s? When,
Oh, you mean south?
yeah.
He moved in 2005. I can tell you the exact year. 2005.
Right.
Because we stayed and they went down there. So packed everything up and went south.
So you know Ed and Julie.
Who?
Ed and Julie. Ed started.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
I used to go up to a lot of his classes when he was here.
Yeah. What a stone tool maker it is. Holy shit.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Amazing pieces. And he's skillful at so many other things too. It's amazing.
Well, just the clay story alone with him having a pile of clay in his backyard in Texas and
Pot, yeah.
taking a year before he got one pot that didn't break or blow up. Which it's definitely coyote learning.
I never mastered pottery. It was fun. We got really
Did
good
everyone
at it.
go?
You never did his,
Yes.
I
think he
guess
had
I'm just taking my time.
he had a
That's all right.
take all the time you need. Pottery pot in 24 hours. Finding the clay, processing, filing it, and having a pot that will work for 24 hours.
Sounds very practical. That would be a very practical class.
He said it was normally takes 3 days.
Yeah, right.
And if you don't have
'Cause
water-
it would have to be fully dry. Right.
So-
Otherwise, it'll explode. It'll
So you-
explode right in the fire.
Yeah, you're ready to drink, and 3 days later,
Can you
you're out
imagine?
and your pot blows up.
Yeah, you're
You're starting.
you know.
3 days
Big
later.
trouble.
All right.
Clay pot, did you take that?
Let's do the qualifications.
Where you made a pot kind of
Thank you.
Normally it takes like 3 days for the process.
So these are yours to keep. So what are you looking for in a spindle? What is so there's no names for this stuff, so I just had to go making up names to call to explain things. So what is an A1 grade hand drill spindle? An A1, right? So an A1, this was a draft, by the way, so it may have weird wording in this, but it's because it was a draft. It's not a final draft. So it's between 20 to 24 inches when you find it. Okay. It's from 3/8, which everyone has felt, right? It's between 3/8 to half an inch. And did everybody notice that there's a size that they kind of prefer, right? The other thing to keep in mind too is that a 3/8 inch spindle, which is thinner, is gonna spin faster than a half-inch spindle, which has a larger diameter. So if you have a thinner spindle, it'll be faster, in theory.
Faster make it cold.
Faster, it's gonna have more rotations and maybe a little bit more speed,
More heat.
right?
Faster.
If depending on the spindle. It should be completely cylindrical, like completely round. Because what you get when you select something, right. So this is amaranth, right? So feel the base, and then where it says amaranth, feel around that. Feel around the base, and where it says amaranth, feel around that. There's a difference, right?
Big difference.
you don't have to see it, you can feel it. You can feel there's a difference, right?
Are you calling Canadian lettuce? Is that the same thing as Canadian thistle?
No, Canada thistle is different. It's a different. This is why I usually
Use the Latin?
use the Latin name, because it's exactly that. It won't get confusing. All right. So where the base end goes to the board, that has to be round. Because if it's not round, if it's not completely cylindrical, you're going to get not friction on the bottom, you're going to get sidewall friction. So, like let's, right here where it's oval, right? Southern Jersey has a definite, different ecosystem from North Jersey.
Did everybody try this?
Did you try that?
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Because
So I don't know what you
all of southern New Jersey used to be underwater, it was under the ocean. And northern Jersey was
Yeah,
above
but
the ocean.
it's fertile on the western side in the floodplain of the Delaware, Sound, and
Yeah.
Gloucester County, western Camden County. You get a lot of.
It's more, it's mountainous and just.
No, it's flat still, but it's not.
I mean, like,
It's like hardwood forest.
yeah.
The richer soils. It's not the sandy crap like I have. It's funny because when I find a tree that's not.
I think I got it.
First, don't do this. Just
It's
do
up,
this.
you got it up too high.
Just go straight across, and the top should be like in the middle, where
your
your
hand.
middle finger
What's
is.
that?
Yeah.
That should be in line with your middle finger.
That should be in there.
That should be, this way.
You're only thinking of two things: rotations. You do speed later, but rotations and keeping it straight. Just keeping it centered. Yep.
Did your wife go to tracker school?
Yes. So she took standard,
This,
and both of us. I was an instructor, but we both ended up working in the office. So my wife ended up actually being manager for a while of Tracker, and I was an assistant manager while I was in nursing school, because I had started nursing school while I was still at Tracker.
that's when the school was in Asbury.
This is when we were 2 miles down the road.
Oh, was that close?
Yeah,
When did he move?
that's why we bought in this area.
Oh.
It's because we worked over there. Yeah. So
When did
we're
he,
like-
did he move the late 90s? When?
Oh, you mean south?
Yeah.
He moved in 2005. I can tell you the exact year. 2005.
Right.
Because we stayed and they went down there. So, packed everything up and went south.
So you know Ed and Julie.
Who?
Ed and Julie. Ed started.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
I used to go up to a lot of his classes when he was here.
Yeah. What a stone tool maker it is. Holy shit.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Amazing pieces. And he's skillful at so many other things too. It's amazing.
Well, just the clay story alone with him having a pile of clay in his backyard in Texas and
Pot, yeah.
taking a year before he got one pot that didn't break or blow up. Which it's definitely coyote learning.
I never mastered pottery. It was fun. We got really
Did
good
everyone
at it.
go?
You never did his.
Yes.
I
think
guess
he had
I'm just taking my time.
He had a
That's all right.
take all the time you need. Pottery pot in 24 hours. Finding the clay, processing, firing, and having a pot to do it in 24 hours.
Sounds very practical. That would be a very practical class.
He said it would normally takes 3 days.
Yeah, right.
And if you don't have
'Cause
water-
it would have to be fully dry. Right.
So-
Otherwise, it'll explode. It'll
So you-
explode right in the fire.
Yeah, you're ready to drink, and 3 days later,
you
you're
imagine?
out and your pot blows up.
Yeah, you're sorry.
You know.
3 days later.
Big trouble.
All right.
Clay pot, did you take that?
Let's do the qualifications.
Where you made a pot.
Thank you.
Normally it takes like 3 days for the process.
So these are yours to keep. So what are you looking for in a spindle? What is so there's no names for this stuff, so I just had to go making up names to call to explain things. So what is an A1 grade hand drill spindle? An A1, right? So an A1, this was a draft, by the way, so it may have weird wording in this, but it's because it was a draft. It's not a final draft. So it's between 20 to 24 inches when you find it. Okay. It's from 3/8, which everyone has felt, right? It's between 3/8 to half an inch. And did everybody notice that there's a size that they kind of prefer, right? The other thing to keep in mind too is that a 3/8 inch spindle, which is thinner, is gonna spin faster than a half-inch spindle, which has a larger diameter. So if you have a thinner spindle, it'll be faster, in theory.
Faster make it cold.
Faster, it's gonna have more rotations and maybe a little bit more speed,
More heat.
right?
Faster.
If depending on the spindle. It should be completely cylindrical, like completely round. Because what you get when you select something, right? So this is amaranth, right? So feel the base, and then where it says amaranth, feel around that. Feel around the base, and where it says amaranth, feel around that. There's a difference, right?
Big difference.
And you don't have to see it, you can feel it. You can feel there's a difference, right?
Are you calling Canadian lettuce like the same thing as Canadian thistle?
No, Canada thistle is different. It's a different. This is why I usually
Use the Latin.
use the Latin name, because it's exactly that. It won't get confusing. All right. So where the base end goes to the board, that has to be round. Because if it's not round, if it's not completely cylindrical, you're going to get not friction on the bottom, you're going to get sidewall friction. So, like right here where it's oval, right? The wall, when this starts to sink down, the walls are going to bind. And that is bad friction. That's bad friction. That's slowing you down. That's resistance that you don't need. So as much of this being as cylindrical as possible all the way through is going to be key.
So
They're mainly on the bottom.
But mainly on the bottom.
that's what I was gonna ask. We want it completely cylindrical, like ideally the whole way up, but specifically at the.
Or for a floatable handle. Like you're
So it
looking
doesn't
for
matter
very,
material, but
you're looking for
looking
very specific,
wall thickness.
very variables. So
Oh wow.
right.
Yeah.
So you'll cut a purple loose stripe because you saw it on the board, and it's going to look like that. And you're going to have to come.
Will that diameter change also from where you harvest it if it's a bigger stalk?
And that's another key thing. So it's very complicated. So sometimes here's a perfect example. So here is a sunflower. I don't like any of these. So I just have these for an example. That looks sort of right? Sort of right? Maybe.
If it's too hard?
Maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Feel its weight too, so just so you know. Right?
Lighter,
Yeah.
a little thin on the wall, right?
It's a little thin, but it's close, right?
Yeah.
It's close.
jeez.
No, because he did exactly what I was about to do.
Oh,
He
okay.
did exactly. Yeah.
It's not very strong.
Yes. That's all right. No, because
He's not
you
lucky,
just
Joe.
you just proved my point. So this is
I'm
sunflower.
by barely.
This is sunflower, right? So
Sure.
I'm pressing here down here, right? This is like this. There's a little bit
Give.
There's a little bit of give, right? It's got some thickness to it. But right here, right? Look at that. So the moment you went like this, like that's it,
Right.
right? So there are a few plants where this is what you have to look for certain plants is only the first inch near the root is the only thing that's going to work for the base. Like,
That's because that's strong as
because
far as.
it's the species. So if you had mullen, it's a little stronger, it's a little thicker, and if I went up 6 inches, it'll still work up here. And maybe up here it might still work. But then you come across a plant like this, and this is what happens. So
So it's kind of like the what's the effect called when you
It's just-
snap off a green shoot? It snaps where you bend
So
it.
pilewort is like that. It's only the extreme base that it's able to work. What's this? I can't even tell which side is up. I think it's this. Yeah, it's this side up. So this side is down. And this side is up. So the top side is also a perfect example of cylindrical. So what happens is, for some plants, right, I feel like I'm talking too much. So it's like, I don't know how else to go over this
It's all good information.
stuff.
I'm just trying to figure out how you keep your spindles straight. You know, well
Since
enough.
2010, I've just been living with these things, and I can look at them and just know which is. I don't know if I should brag.
So
about
piles-
I don't know if I should brag about that, but it's
Piles where it's good for piles, right?
right. So we're looking for a cylindrical spindle, but when you collect some of these, depending on the species, they kind of implode. And they end up looking like that when you cut them a cross section. So that one right there is a small example of what happens when it kind of implodes on one
Can I
end.
see that again? Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, because you
Weren't looking.
don't know what you're looking for.
That's the base, the lighter side.
Yeah, the more round end.
Yeah.
So amaranth will do that. Lamb's quarters is famous for that.
Yeah, right.
Lamb's quarters.
Yeah, so you're talking about imploding on the top or the base?
Well, it'll just happen in a plant root.
Yeah, when
Wherever it's
how
weak.
it grows. You mean.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
However that happens. But this is a
You can see it
common,
more on the top.
depending on the species, like this is a regular finding for some species, where this is just what happens.
Show
So-
the camera.
Lamb's quarters is famous for like this, where there's just like huge grooves all along the sides, where it's just like it looks like a star. And it's incredible. So you have to be really careful.
Alex, did you want to show the camera?
Oh yeah, sure.
Got it. Quick question, Joe. So after large pith / stalk,
Yes.
as one of the 10? Because I'm only counting 6. So is wall thickness also supposed to be on this list?
Oh yeah, there's 4 pages.
Oh. So.
See,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
See, I usually don't.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
don't
Gotcha.
like talking too much. I like demonstrating too much,
Gotcha.
but I don't know how else to go through this material. All right. So where are we? A stable stock that will not break under repeated use. A completely arrow straight that's an entire. I think that's just a quick breakdown.
Quick break.
That's
Gotcha.
a quick
Yep.
breakdown,
I got it now.
And arrow straight. All right. So what makes so these are the 10 things. This is why I consider this the top 5. The top 5 for New Jersey is availability. Maybe not so much in South Jersey, but here where I live. So when I mean Jersey, I mean kind of up here, right? So apologies for this South Jersey people. Availability. So as I drive around, like my eyes are like trained on certain plants like all the time. Like it's just like, oh, that's this, that's that. So prickly lettuce, like you said, velvet leaf. You're familiar with velvet leaf, right? Giant ragweed, teasels. Like when you can't just find one teasel. Like you're gonna find a forest of teasels when you find teasel. Or for a floatable handrail. Like you're
So it
looking
doesn't
for
matter material, but
you're looking for very specific,
Wall thickness.
very variables. So
Oh wow.
right.
Yeah.
So you'll cut a purple loosestrife because you saw it on the board, and it's gonna look like that. But you're gonna have to come.
Will that diameter change also from where you harvest it? If it's a bigger stalk?
And that's another key thing. So that's really complicated. So sometimes here's a perfect example. So here is a sunflower. I don't like any of these. So I just have these for an example. That looks sort of right, right? Sort of right? Maybe.
If it's too hard?
Maybe,
Yeah.
right? Feel its weight too, just so you know. Right?
Lighter,
Yeah.
a little thin on the wall, right?
It's a little thin, but it's close, right?
Yeah.
It's close.
Jeez.
No, because he did exactly what I was about to do.
Oh.
He
Okay.
did exactly. Yeah.
It's not very strong.
Yes. That's all right. No,
You
because
got
you
lucky,
just
Joe.
you just proved my point. So this is
I'm
sunflower.
barely.
This is sunflower, right? So
Sure.
I'm pressing here down here, right? This is like this. There's a little bit of give, right? It's got some thickness to it, but right here, right? Look at that. So the moment you went like this, like that's it,
right.
right? So there are a few plants where this is what you have to look for certain plants is only the first inch near the root is the only thing that's going to work for the base. Like
That's
for a floatable handrail. Like you're
So it
looking
doesn't
for
matter material, but
you're looking for
you're looking-
very specific,
wall thickness.
very variables. So
Oh wow.
right.
Yeah.
So you'll cut a purple loosestrife because you saw it on the board, and it's going to look like that. But you're going to have to come.
Will that diameter change also from where you harvest it? If it's a bigger stalk?
And that's another key thing. So that's really complicated. So sometimes, here's a perfect example. So here is a sunflower. I don't like any of these. So I just have these for an example. That looks sort of right, right? Sort of right? Maybe.
If it's too hard?
Maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Feel its weight too, so just so you know. Right?
Lighter,
Yeah,
a little thin on the wall, right?
it's a little thin, but it's close, right? It's
Yeah.
close. Or for a floatable handrail, like you're
So it
looking
doesn't
for
matter
very,
material, but
you're looking for very specific,
wall thickness.
very variables. So
Oh wow.
right.
Yeah.
So you'll cut a purple loosestrife because you saw it on the board, and it's gonna look like that. But you're gonna have to come,
Will that diameter change also from where you harvest it, if it's a bigger stalk?
and that's another key thing. So it's really complicated. So sometimes, here's a perfect example. So here is a sunflower. I don't like any of these. So I just have these for an example. That looks sort of right, right? Sort of right? Maybe.
If it's too hard?
Maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Feel its weight too, so just so you know. Right?
Lighter,
Yeah,
a little thin on the wall, right?
it's a little thin, but it's close, right? It's
Yeah.
close.
Jeez.
No, because he did exactly what I was about to do.
Oh.
He
Okay.
did exactly. Yeah.
It's not very strong.
Yes. That's all right. No, because
You got
you
lucky,
just
Joe.
you just proved my point. So this is
I'm in by
sunflower.
barely.
This is sunflower, right? So
Sure.
I'm pressing here down here, right? This is like this. There's a little bit.
Give.
There's a little bit of give, right? It's got some thickness to it, but right here, right? Look at that. So the moment you went like this, like that's it,
Right.
right? So there are a few plants where this is what you have to look for certain plants is only the first inch near the root is the only thing that's going to work for the base. Like,
That's because that's strong as
because
far
it's the species. So if you had mullen, it's a little stronger, it's a little thicker, and if I went up 6 inches, I could probably, it'll still work up here. And maybe up here it might still work. But then you come across a plant like this, and this is what happens. So
So it's kind of like the what's the effect called when you
It's just-
snap off a green shoot? It snaps where you bend
So
it.
pilewort is like that. It's only the extreme base that it's able to work. What's this? I can't even tell which side is up. I think it's this. Yeah, it's this side up. So this side is down. And this side is up. So the top side is also a perfect example of cylindrical. So what happens is, for some plants, right, I feel like I'm talking too much. So it's like, I don't know what else to do. go over this
It's all good information.
stuff.
I'm just trying to figure out how you keep your spindles straight.
I
You know,
since
well enough?
since 2010, I've just been living with these things, and I can look at them and just know which is which. Which is, I don't know if I should brag.
So
about
piles-
I don't know if I should brag about that, but it's
Piles where it's good for piles, right?
right. So we're looking for a cylindrical spindle, but when you collect some of these, depending on the species, they kind of implode. And they end up looking like that when you cut them a cross section. So that one right there, right? Because then it'll be really off. It'll helicopter is what I call it. It'll look like that. This sumac, same thing. The bend is here, so it really doesn't matter. As long as I'm floating, I can get away with it. This is how you play. You play with the variables. So I have a smart weight
So
somewhere.
both of those ends are lighter. Did you carve them down, or you just took the
Yeah,
bark off?
I just took the bark off
Just
right
there.
there. So,
So you don't got to do the whole thing, just where you need it.
well, I like to clean up where my hands are
Yeah.
and absolutely where it meets the base. Because bark can take velvet leaf, for example, or dogbane, or any of the cordage plants. They're fibers, right? So if you don't clean it all off, you're basically sweeping everything gone. If you don't do that, and you don't want it, like you're just like, you might as well just have somebody just like just blow everything away while you're trying to do it. Now that's your fault for not fixing that, for not doing that. So I have a smart weed somewhere. It's probably here. There it is. Oh my god. Smart weed. It's fed. That's the
Nice.
So that's not easy to use, right? You would probably say that's not easy to use, right?
Yeah.
So we went over sizes, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2 inch. So I have the metrics there too, 10, 11, 12 millimeters.
Oh, nice.
I can't believe you found Charlie got that big.
Yeah, the trick is, it's not all of them, it's finding the right ones.
Yeah.
It's just, you look, there you are, but it's all a matter of looking. So, cylindrical, we went over that. All right, so there's annoyances. Okay, so Dave, you said you noticed mullen is not on my top 5. And here's why. It's because mullen gives me dermatitis.
Is that a problem?
So these are mullins, and you can see that they're half processed, right?
So if it didn't give you dermatitis,
No,
would it be
but they
without
did,
that?
is the thing. So like, I go outside, I have to wear a mask because I can't breathe that shit in, and I start scraping and sanding, and I have to wear long sleeves because anywhere the dust settles in the creases, in my neck, in my elbows, like I just start developing a rash right away. So I have to put on like a turtleneck,
So this,
and I have to go outside, and I start scraping, and I go through the entire batch.
and that's only partially processed, you're saying?
Yeah, they're not even fully processed.
Have you
Like
smoked-
they're just like, I just took the bark off.
The smoking melon bother you?
Yes,
Yeah.
it actually
You're
does.
definitely allergic to it.
So then I shake off outside, and I take my clothes off at the door, and I throw my clothes in the laundry, and then I go immediately up to a shower. So for me, that is not fun. as a great hand drill as it is, that for me is a problem. So that's why it's not one of my top 5. It's a great hand drill, but like these are more of a pleasure processing than that was, and that's the only thing that makes it not on the list.
Because I got fields of that stuff.
Yeah.
That is tons of it.
Not
Yeah,
only
yeah.
that, it's usually still standing from the year before. You can see it.
Yeah,
spot-
it usually lasts a good while. So, and then I have, what do I got here? Oh, Cocklebur, Hackelia, Great Burnock. Those are to harvest them is really annoying because like the seeds stick to your clothes and you have to literally, when you get home, you have to spend an hour pulling these things off. And to me, that's just not fun.
That's
Like,
the big
it's just
one.
really
That's the
annoying.
big- That's the big brown ones.
The Cocklebur and the Burdocks are the big ones. But the thing is too, is you're like pulling them off, they fall apart. So like all the little Velcros are like still in there. And what's that one?
What about goldenrod?
Tick seed? Is it tick seed? Goldenrod? Goldenrod's good, but you have to find one with the proper wall thickness.
Oh, okay.
And around here at least,
Giant goldenrod.
they tend being like 3/8 of an inch. Like they don't really get to my 7/16 or half an inch that I would really like. They tend being on the thinner side, which I don't like. And then the wall thickness is a little thicker, so that makes it harder to spin, which I don't like. And that's why it doesn't make the list. So for me,
I'll bring you giant goldenrod.
yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. A lot of the goldenrod that you find has a stunted growth. But where you are at the park, things are just allowed to like grow up, right?
Yeah.
And they're left alone. So they can get
And
bigger.
they're next to water.
Yeah, yes. It's a healthy area, the air is better, it's better fertilized soil. There's all those variables in there, so like I have this one unicorn, which is, it's probably on that one. Would you grab that?
Well, you're looking at the goldenrod? I don't think it's on this one.
No, it's why is it not here? Can you pass it? I'm probably looking right at it. There it is. This is a wild carrot.
It's a big wild carrot.
That is a huge wild carrot. It was growing behind a guardrail on the side of the highway. And I spotted it because I saw the flower and I'm like, I did the Jersey slide, you know what the Jersey slide is? Did the Jersey slide, I pulled over onto the shoulder and I'm like, you're coming home with me, I'm sorry.
Have you tried hemlock?
Yes. Hemlock does work, yes. Yeah.
And it's safe once you dry it out?
Yes. Although I let everybody know that it's hemlock.
If you could.
There's a warrant, like if you died, it's your fault.
Top deadliest
But
plant in North America.
yes, I mean you're not exactly chewing it, or
I've heard people have skin reactions to that.
you
sometimes.
can you can have a skin reaction from
Yeah,
anything. So
Apparently, Mom.
Yeah. And what about cattails or is
yeah,
that something that could be used
Or like reeds,
or
too
Fridays?
thin. Or Phragmites is weed.
cattails are deceptive because you'll remove the leaves. It's a rabbit. It's a squirrel. You'll remove the leaves, remove the leaves, and then you have this little tiny spindle inside.
You can eat the pith.
So, yeah. I'm like, I need a fire. So,
Joe, besides the top 5 New Jersey ones, is there any rhyme or reason to these the orders that you have
No.
here?
No, there's
okay.
no. There's
Just
no,
just you got holes with them.
Yeah, I just.
Okay.
I got it.
And this
Five
is,
and other.
these are more fragile too, right, the cattail? See,
They are.
okay.
And they could, the wall thickness can tend to be on the thin side, so you have to be really careful. But,
And what was the one you had just showed us? It was wild
Wild
carrot.
carrot.
Wild carrot.
wild carrot. Here's another unusual one. Chicory.
Hard to find that straight up.
Yeah. That was a huge chicory that was like, I found it in a field somewhere. Like it was literally like coming across a unicorn.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Because the chicory, like I see, it's like it breaks and stuff. Like this is, I mean, I think some of the chicory I've seen was like the one that I broke with the. I forget.
That was a chick.
The sunflower?
Yeah.
That was sunflower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's almost new. So what else do I need to-
You gotta talk about bases too.
We did
Base
floating.
boards.
I wasn't really going to focus on that.
Yeah.
It's just find a soft wooded branch. It's going to end up being a soft branch,
Yeah.
right? You're going to do it's the Bojol thumbnail thing, survival wise, if we're talking survival wise. Practice, if you're going to practice getting a coal, go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get some cedar.
And a CNN machine? Or N-
And a CNC machine. Yeah, I
I
know.
was saying it wrong.
You get, that's fine. I know what you mean.
I didn't know they sold that.
Right. Put this back.
Were you just talking about regular branches?
Just baseboard
Awesome.
For the baseboard
Yeah.
softness.
Yeah, for your base.
Is the elderberry hollow too? Has that got pip in it?
Oh, there's the,
Right next to it.
here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
If you didn't see them already, there you go.
Cause that'd be pretty easy to harvest elderberry. You got a ton of branches to pick from.
Here's
It just won't be dry.
right. Hackelia. Hackelia is super annoying. You don't know you found Hackelia until you walk past Hackelia.
What's the common name?
Hackelia is, it doesn't really have a common name, I think. Beggar's lice. I don't like using that name. Beggar's lice.
That's
And-
weird.
Yeah.
name.
So you'll walk past
Does it have the
Hackelia, and then you'll be like, I don't know. You don't even know you walked past it, and like your pants will feel weird. And you look down your pants, and there's like 100 Hackelia seeds all over your pants, which you now have to take an hour to take off
Oh,
with
no.
tweezers.
little black one, long black
I
one?
just they're so annoying. Hackelia. And it's however that species is designed, it's designed that the sea head just keeps falling apart. Like it's genetically designed that way. So every time you try to pull something off, it's just in pieces. And all the pieces are still stuck to your pants. That's it.
You guys familiar with that?
I remember I was cutting a tree down for my wife's a coworker. I had to bring the chainsaw, and then I saw a Hackelia, and I'm like, well, I better be careful. And I was walking back and forth, and I forgot it was there, and I
Oh,
actually
God.
walked into it again. Like, I knew it was there. Like, I had to spend an hour taking the seeds off.
The guy worked.
And it definitely does not make my top one.
Guy worked.
You're off the list.
Was cutting a tree down. I said I could have a wood. It was hickory. I'm like, great. And I get there. I said, don't cut it to length. They had it all cut on. All
They had it
different
all
lengths. Different lengths. I'm like, dude, where you going? Then he's like, I'm keeping it. This is Pickering. And then the next day, you showed up to work, it had a poison ivy line about that big.
Yes.
Wrapped around the tree.
Oh.
And he was in the mini excavator, and just the aeration, because he was sensitive.
Sure,
to it,
sure, sure, sure.
He was covered.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
I said,
yeah.
that's karma. He looked like a pink giant because he had not camel.
So when I used to live on the tractor farm,
Caldro.
Caroline motion, yeah, that doesn't work. All right, so two stories. One is when I used to live on the tractor farm, there was a huge poison ivy vine growing up a tree, and I'm like, one of these days, like so the tree had fallen that it was connected to. I'm like, well, all these are dead, so I'm good. So I cut the poison ivy vine, which was not easy. Actually, they're pretty tough when they get that big. And I remember having like rubber gloves and like bagging everything like it was like I was in CSI or something like that, right? And I was like, and I made sure that it was double bagged. And so years later, I came across it. I'm like, oh, today's the day. So like I put on a mask and I put on like coveralls and like I start carving down this vine, and it was really hard. It was like ash. Like it was really, really super hard with really tight growth rings. And so I made a reload, and I did crutch drill with the reload. And so if you go on my channel, there's a video of me doing poison ivy vine. So I'm like, okay, so poison ivy vine does work.
And
It will work.
Old timer, when he would get a hold of it, he put it in his attic for 7 years. Then he would turn it into pens.
No.
But it took 7 years, like, to get the oil. That's what he did to make sure it was safe. But he said, I never seen it, but he said it was beautiful.
It is really good looking. What it reminds me of like a sassafras, the vine, like when the vine gets really that big. But right, because then it'll be really off. It'll helicopter, is what I call it. It'll look like that. This sumac, same thing. The bend is here, so it really doesn't matter. As long as I'm floating, I can get away with it. This is how you play. You play with the variables. So, I have a smart weight somewhere.
Both of those ends are lighter. Did you carve them down, or you just took the
Yeah,
bark off?
I just took the bark off
Just
right
there.
there. Autoimmune disorder caused by the oil. So, the oil gets on your skin. Okay, urushiol oil. Urushiol oil gets on your skin. Urushiol oil will change the, how do I describe it? It changes the structure of the cells of your skin. It changes the structure so that other cells around those cells
I think it's a farm.
no longer recognize your cells as your own cells. And because the cells around your cells that are coated with oil no longer recognize those cells, your cells attack those cells. So it's an autoimmune thing that's taking place. Because it's not really a histamine thing as an allergic reaction. This is why you take Benadryl and it doesn't make the itch go away. This is why it blisters. This is why
Well, they say
it
that-
erupts.
Is it true the most important thing to do is get the oil off?
Correct. As soon as, like, if you know you brushed against it, you have like 10 minutes to like scrub it off with a detergent, like an oil busting detergent. Like that. I know we're digressing.
Python works.
So, but if you don't know it's on and you're allergic, after a couple minutes, it's too late. Like your cells have already changed.
You also know the trick about not getting it to begin with?
That's I know that.
Well, no, I mean, if you hit the plant,
Yeah.
the oil's not always on the surface, but if you agitate the plant and you walk past it, the guy behind you is the one who gets it.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why sometimes you can brush through it and you go, oh shit,
I'm very
and
sensitive.
nothing
to it.
happens.
Like I used to you're not really paying attention, and the vine. You think the vine is part of the tree. Like I've had it like go like that, and like there would be like this scar across my face. So I got really sensitive to it. So all right,
It is new.
it is new. Let me just make sure we.
What are you, hungry?
I need breakfast.
Just so you know, really the only reason they come here is to go to lunch. You know,
She talked
they
about
put
it
up
about it.
they put up with this and wait
And wait
to
for
go
us.
to lunch, and then one or two lot will take a nap after lunch, which is fine. I completely understand. So, all right. So everyone got a feel for what are the preferred 3 sizes.
Yeah.
So the trick is really, you may be one that like, I really like 3/8 over the other 2. I like 1/2 over the other 2. So mine is like right in the middle, like 7/16. Like, right? And eventually, you get to a point where someone can go like this and like, which size is which, and you just know. You'll just look and you're just like, that's 3/8, that's 7/16, that's half an inch. You can go like this and you go like, that one's and you just know. You know it, and you can know that, oh, that's larger than half an inch, I'm not even gonna touch that. You just look and you just go, that's smaller than 3/8, like I'm not touching that. Because this is like the magic middle, these 3. So, in my opinion.
And that would go even for someone like a bigger person, a smaller person.
This is
we're
why you have to
still-
find your size.
Right, right.
This is why you have to find your size.
But they still more than likely be somewhere in that vicinity
For the average
for
person.
the average.
For the
okay.
average person.
You got this big hulking dude, maybe not.
So- Right.
And
If you're Andre the Giant,
right. Now,
God rest
You
his
seen this hand around
soul.
a beer can?
God rest his I know, right?
Yes.
You can't even see the beer can.
God rest
Yeah.
his soul.
and now, what
He
about
is-
for little kids? If you're teaching little kids, still stick to these sizes.
Okay, so part 2, after
oh,
lunch,
part 2. Okay.
we go over what you do when you. First of all, I should probably have you guys like try to spin one. We'll do that. Then we'll get into what you do when you have a non-floatable hand drill. You have a hand drill, but it's not one you float.
Gotcha.
All right?
Yep.
We good? Any questions?
You can stop at Home
Ready, set, go.
You can stop at Home Depot after lunch together. Practice.
That was a lot of talk. That's more talk than I usually do. Right?
So back on poison ivy, so some people will like, they get it all over the body, they just brush it.
Well, either they.
You know what I
You don't
mean?
know.
Have
I don't
you
know.
heard that?
It depends on what happened, right? So, did they finish rubbing it all over themselves? Because I tell you about Kevin's story. The other Kevin, the director, or Jack. So Kevin, during standard class, one of his most favorite things to teach, God rest his soul, was teaching traps. And one of the exercises during standard class, is you go out and you collect your own trap sticks. So the class went out, collected trap sticks, and one of the students, I wasn't there when it happened, but a student came back with, had already carved the bark off the poison ivy.
Nice
And Kevin usually inspects everyone's trap sticks to see how they're doing. So this guy handed
Oh,
Kevin the with the bark off, so he didn't realize it.
Ugh.
So he had touched it and he didn't know, and eventually at some point he had gone like this
Yeah, right.
without knowing.
Yeah, sure.
Because if especially a lot of standards are run in summer, and you're just pouring sweat because you're in the barn,
Yeah.
and you know Kevin's a big guy, so he's a little sweaty. So plus your sweat with the oil, I'm sure it's just running down
And they,
like all over. And 2 days later, he was a mess. Like he was a mess. So he had to still finish out the rest of the week too, because he had lectures to do.
you remember the sign at Boy Scout camp?
says a quarter ounce of that oil can infect 250,000 people.
I'm sure. It's
That's how
very
strong it
powerful.
is. That's crazy.
It's powerful stuff.
That
My
makes
friend said he made his debris hut out of
Getting right to it.
It's gonna smell nice, but my wife's loves it. Like, you only need one drop. If you put more, it's two. You're gonna be like this for like an hour, trying to get friction again on your hands. So we were saying
We were talking about the practicing.
yes. So
Pressure.
you really see that has the mate. So it's made in. Right? Now, when you think you got a good pile and you think you're really close,
Go more.
you just fall down the stalk.
You see the smoke right there, didn't you?
Yeah.
You haven't burnt the rug yet, huh?
Did I stop too soon? Stop too soon. So, it was about 1 minute, right? It was about 60 seconds. So,
Does that count if you don't get a cold?
yeah. True. So, what was that? That was prickly lettuce. I mean, if I keep going, I'll just. So, what am I focusing on now? Because I'm ADD.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
I notice how deep these are. How important is your board thickness for the hand drill?
So, the reason for these grooves is
For the sawdust?
is for this.
Logistics.
Yeah. It's for
Carrying
this.
stuff.
It's for that, and it's for that. It's really for that.
Okay.
So it sits there like that.
How far down was the sawdust from the edge of your,
So the sawdust, it just goes right up to the
right to the edge of
right to the
notch?
edge of the notch where that is. Yeah. Man.
And it's a coarser sawdust, not like fine.
It doesn't have to be, yeah, so the finer the dust, the better coal extender it's gonna be. So, but all I care about right now is that the floor is not down there, the floor is there. That's all I care about. So, today. Selection. Here's something I have not practiced a lot with. This is swamp rose mallow. That's the bottom. Look how light they are.
Wow.
They're like velvet leaf.
That's where the marshmallow came from.
I found that a beaver put them all out.
A beaver took
Sure,
them
why
all
the
out.
muskrat?
Yeah, beaver was one.
The muskrat had a wide group teeth. You get big.
They're light, right?
Yeah.
Very soft, right?
They both have the same.
They're
two
super
versions
soft.
at the front.
When I was visiting a patient once and they lived near a lake. And all around the lake was swamp rose mallow. And I'm like, now I would never ask anyone to break any laws. But you know, I put on my bright yellow hat and my bright yellow construction safety vest. And I grabbed those shopping carts that the old ladies pull, right? With a leaf litter bag inside. And I had my saw and my tools with me, and I just walked around like I belonged there. And I just started like, I looked really official. And I just went in. And there was like one or two people on the park bench, and they're like, "Hey, what? So you work here?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just kind of cleaning up a little bit."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, that's nice. All right, have a good day." So, but I would never tell anyone to break any laws or anything like that, like ever. So, all right. So when I pull over on the side of the road to go get something, I usually put on a safety vest and a bright hat, and I just run out. Do my. Sometimes I have cones in my Jeep, so I put 2 cones behind my Jeep, and I just get out and I just do my business. I don't look at anybody. I just look like I belong there, and then I just throw the stuff in my Jeep and I just take the cones and I just take that.
Do people stop and ask if you need help?
No,
If your twins out or anything? Are you okay?
Yeah, right.
That sort of thing.
We did have one guy. All right, so I took a crew out with me once. Like we had a trailer because we were collecting a ton of like teasel. This was on the on Route 78 in Pennsylvania, and some Karen dude pulls over, like calls the cops. They're like, "What are these guys doing here?" So a cop pulls up. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And like, I'm in charge of the group, right? Obviously, I got everybody together to go harvest. And I'm like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" I go, "Well, we're just collecting plants." So we do things like teaching scouts skills, and so you know we need materials to like teach with. And I'm not lying, right? Because I do teach like Boy Scouts and things like that. So, I'm like, "I'll show you." So I run to the car and I pull out one of these sets, right? A full set, like it happens to be already made and everything like that. And you know, it just goes like this. And he goes, "Oh, that's really interesting." He starts asking me more questions, and he asks me more questions. And he talks about, "Oh, I know a Boy Scout troop that would be really interested in that." Yeah, so that's what we're doing. He goes, all right, be safe." And he took off. He goes, "All right, so if you guys are done, here we go."
So Karen didn't know what you were doing, but he still called the cops.
He's called the cops on, and he pulled up ahead.
Oh,
Like he pulled off just to watch.
Make
So
sure
when the
no one-
cop pulled up, he wanted to see.
Yeah.
He wanted to see us get handcuffed and perp walked maybe or something like that. I don't know. So that was the only real time that ever happened. Out of like probably the hundreds of times I've gathered stuff. So there's always one, no matter where you go. Right? All right, so we're collecting. Collecting. I'm just gonna ruin one of these. All right, so Alex is Mother Earth, right? He's Mother Earth, and this is growing out of the ground. So, how I like to collect. Let's say you can't pull this up by the root. This is not. Let's say this is just not going anywhere, right? So, for example, with pithy stalks, you don't want to use clippers and loppers, because what will obviously happen, there's the sunflower, right? That's what's going to happen if you use those. It depends on the, like this, you might get away with it, right? You might get away with it because it's solid. It's more solid than it is anything else. So when you're harvesting, you always want to bring a saw. Now just bend this over and just, so this is very ergonomic. Just bend it over so that there's a bit of a tension, just a little bit, right? So that when you're sawing, I'm gonna cut his hand. The tension kind of pops it, but you don't want this. You don't want this to happen, though. Right? You don't want. You don't want to like it be under such tension that half of it goes. See how soft this is. It's really soft.
That's the sunflower.
That's the swamp rose mallow. Yeah. So if you did that, do I dare? There's one here I really don't like. It's a 3/8. No, I like all of these. I got all of them. So you have to be careful that it doesn't just, when you're sawing, it doesn't split while it's under tension. It just has to be under enough tension that you can go through and collect the whole thing.
Is that saw?
But you don't want to destroy what, depending on the species, you have to be careful what tool you're using to harvest.
What kind of saw is that?
This is a Japanese
particular.
carpenter saw.
So you like the finer teeth rather than a,
Yeah, a cross cut. So there's two kinds of teeth on here. It's where woodworking comes in. There's ripping teeth. Ripping teeth are for when you are cutting with the grain,
which are usually wider teeth.
which are wire teeth. And then you have cross-cut teeth, because you're, like if these are straws, you're cutting across straws. And here you're cutting with straws, if that makes it, not that, and you know what, it really doesn't matter. But to answer the question.
So like this one doesn't,
Huh?
this one doesn't work too well, right?
It's a little bit more, it's more aggressive.
But you do want finer teeth, because you're working with
Small stuff.
small dowels, and they're,
And they make small ones. Like
yeah, they
that.
do make smaller ones.
For like dowel, they call them dowel cutters, they're much smaller. But they don't, have you seen I haven't seen a Vulcan one. Have you?
Yes.
Do you have? He has one. If he
I
can-
do have
If he can find it. Where is it at?
I'm just gonna go.
Put that on the list for those other people.
They won't have
They won't
that.
have
No. He definitely woodworking warehouse probably.
Grandma Google has it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Exactly.
Back to the light. Sorry. I don't have it on me.
It gives me hope to know that I can search for it.
It's there. It's there. I gave one to Alex, so it's in his, but he doesn't have to grade it. Anyway, I digress. There's so much to go over. So, okay, so we kind of went over floatables. What do you do with it when it's not floatable? You have to create for yourself a pressure thumb brace, which is what I call it.
Before we get there, how do we know if it's floatable or not floatable?
Oh, So the first, good. Let's do that. Can I have those boards? Thank you. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's this one. All right. Black mustard. I have never done. I've never done black mustard.
You never tried it, never got a hold.
Never. I harvested a few of them. I put them away. I put them downstairs. I've never done this.
That's different than garlic mustard.
Yes. So this is it's a Brassica nigra, I think it is.
Mustard family.
Yeah. So you could look at the bottom before I kill myself. It looks good. It feels good,
But
but I've never tried it.
you got the right, a little thin, but it's almost the right wall thing.
It looks decent. It's not the greatest, but it's something. It's
not terrible,
It's
yeah.
not terrible, but it's.
So again, when you do it, the thinnest part is at the top.
Yes.
When I,
I have no idea what's going to happen. But I've spun 2 already, right? I've done at least, and a little bit, I've practiced and I've spun. So. That doesn't look terrible, but I'm really tired.
25 seconds.
Do I have it or I don't? No. But I'm sure if I kept going, I would have it. Now I find myself, let's say I'm here for 2 reasons. One is I've chosen a hand drill material that is too dense. Higher density means more pressure. More pressure means I'm going to injure myself. Second reason, I've tried a few times, but I'm really tired, or I have an injury. But this is all I have to work with. Right? So, we're going to, where are they? So, a decade ago, I was playing around with pressure thumb braces, and I'm like, I don't know what they're supposed to be. I'm not sure what they're supposed to look like, right? So, there's one where you kind of, you have a knot in it somewhere at the top, and then your thumbs go through the loops. And it allows you to apply pressure. Okay? So I was playing around with that. And then I'm playing around with, because I was worried that, and this is a real problem, if you do the arrow knock method and you put this in here, you run the risk of splitting the stock. So I despise that method. Okay? Realizing that, you might need something that goes like on top. I'm gonna do this. This is a node of bamboo, right? So this will fit like that, maybe, depending on top. But I don't know if, I'm not gonna come across bamboo. And Japanese knotweed is not gonna hold up, right? It's just not gonna work. So, that, as a practical matter, that doesn't work either.
You mean in real life?
In real life, right? Then I have the end of a cannon bone. So the bone is hollow, but
What about reinforcing the knock on the arrow knock?
you could do that, right? You would do the knock and then you would you could do that if you have a lot of cord. But if you don't have a lot of cord, how would you reinforce it?
Just find the sinew.
You're lucky-
Just find the sinew laying around.
Right. Yeah, well, I've been looking everywhere for that sinew. It's been here the whole time. Right? So, then there's the bone. Right? So you can do it that way, but I'm probably not going to come across a dead animal. I'm going to be the dead animal if I don't get this fire going. So, and as a practical matter,
But here's the other
that
thing.
really doesn't work.
All your stalks then you have to find already dead then. Also,
Yeah.
In a practical scenario.
Assuming, I'm just playing. So assuming you have a hand drill set, but for some reason you're not able to perform the float method. Whether the material is a little hard, or you're too tired, or you have an injury. But this is what you have to work with. You have a board and a spin. Okay, so that is probably the scenario somehow you'll be in with those variables. You have a handle set, but you can't do the floating method for whatever reason. This is my idea for the best pressure thumb brace that you can hold on to and show other people. Because it's not just easy to teach, it's easier to acquire. Because these you can't just acquire them. They have more cons than they do pros. This one is mostly pros. So if you're going to remember one, remember this one. Okay. I feel like I'm talking too much.
I feel like you say that a lot.
Well, the other months, everyone here has been doing most of the work. But I just seem to be like blah, blah, blah. It feels like blah, blah, blah. So,
We're not complaining. You guys all good? All day?
Awesome.
We'll let you know when you're.
When your time's up.
yeah. All right, enough of you. All right. So this is a chamois, which you'll find in either the automotive section of Walmart or any automotive parts store, right? You're gonna find a chamois, which I think is sheepskin, I think. So you're in the middle of the woods, you're gonna bust out your 12-inch ruler that you have on you,
You're
right?
gonna run to Walmart.
You're gonna run. All right.
In your survival situation.
In your survival situation, you're gonna pull out your
Walmart.
12-inch ruler. Alright.
Say, wish I had matches.
So you're gonna kind of mark out a double 12-inch ruler. Okay. With this cut. Otherwise, I'll get my scissors.
I with auto first serve before too.
Well, you're not necessarily doing this in the field. I mean, like this is how you practice. But I want you to see how easy this is to make, comparative to these other options. So far, I think this is the best option to solve the non-floatable hand drill problem.
After Home Depot, make an automotive run.
At least I got leather, right? At least it's a leather.
Automotive, sorry.
All right, so measure up thumb's width from the bottom. Just make a mark. Thumb's width, make a mark. Thumb's width, make a mark. Now make a thumb's width up from that, and you can make it bigger, that's fine. All right. But not getting too close to this edge is actually very important. You need to leave a lot of material here, okay? So you're gonna cut. You're gonna cut that out on all 4 places. You see what I'm doing? I start, I go in, and I stop. Like cutting out a snowflake.
Your convex, concave.
Well, I fold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So I'll do the other side. If anyone ever comes up with a better way than this, you have to tell me about it. All right. So now we can fold this in half. And now your thumbs go through there. And now, if you have a fragile, pithy stalk, this can go right on top of it and just cup over it softly, and it won't break and shatter. And it'll just hold, just the way it is. The leather will just wrap around it. If it's a hard one, same thing. But it's strong enough to hold and hold on to it. Either one. So it's not just for the one that's more solid and has thicker walls and requires more pressure. I'm too tired to do a floating one with a floating spindle, but I don't want to break it because it's really fragile. So this works for both options of spindle, which is really key. So just even it out, you can see, right, it just cups over the top, right? Now the trick here really is to just forget that it's there and to just lean on it and spin. come on.
Is that the black mustard again?
Yes. So I have to work on this. I gotta figure that one out. So, I don't want me to be just talking. So, I'll tell you what, Alex. Do you want to do a freehand and then then we'll do the pressure thumbers afterward. So while he's doing a set, everybody please make your own, let me get a real scissor. Please make your own pressure thumbers. Gotta try that again there.
Burgundy lettuce.
Is that okay? Or, I'll tell you what. Your choice.
Cool.
Since you're not,
You doing the
you're not, he's not a newbie.
You doing the shumac?
The shumac.
Yeah. That grows around here. That grows down by me too. That's the smooth shumac is not the one you make the drink out of, is it? That's the other one?
I think it could be that or the staghorn,
Staghorn's the one.
as long as they have the red berries. I think they both. I could be wrong.
Try the curly dog.
Sure. Take your time. Yeah, but no blisters, no hot spots, right? And in a couple minutes, I can just go again if I need to. It's usually just a matter of energy. It's like you have to give yourself a break, try again later. Because you have to save up enough energy to go for a while, right? You can't just try again, because you'll fall short again. You have to give yourself enough time to really recover to know that you can go like over a minute. So,
So it's much less fatiguing with this, right?
I'm sorry?
Much less fatiguing with this.
Oh, yeah. The only thing you have to focus on is speed and rotations, because you're just leaning on it.
Starting to lose my grip a little bit towards
Yeah, I saw that. The simplicity of hand drill also, I think, makes it the most challenging. Paradoxically. I don't think it does anybody any good when you could just bust out coal after coal after coal without understanding that it has its challenges. That doesn't help. I don't think that helps people. Like you have to see that you just don't get it all the time. You don't get it all
I
the time.
learned a good lesson in my standard class. I made the kit, I have woodworking background. I paid attention to technique.
Right.
I had a coal in 5 minutes. I said, it was easy. But I thought I knew how to do it, and 3 years later was the next time I tried.
Yeah.
I couldn't get one.
Was it the same set or was it a different set?
I don't even know. It was cedar, but I was just like, kind of like, what the hell is going on? Because I thought I knew what I was doing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
How deep you go your cut?
Just pretty shallow.
Are you
Where
need
it's
to see-
dot- Oh, I was ready to do that wrong.
Want to see again? There.
Okay, all right.
Oops, here.
I'm gonna screw that up.
Here's another one that I have. You can go free.
Yeah, one more try, yeah.
Did I give it? I didn't give you that, did I?
Yeah, there's one over here.
Oh, there's another one?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
It's definitely on the wobbly side. So we cut this part over here.
Yeah, they go from dot to dot, not one at a time. Yeah, fold it at the dot, like this.
Wobbly portion. Seems almost like right in here.
And cut here. I almost did the same thing you were doing,
It's hard to
just
say.
Every
Just
spindle
like
has
this.
its own personality.
Yeah.
That's why you have to spin as many spindles as you can. Because
So you gotta put a dot in the middle.
Okay.
Put a dot, put your thumb there and put a dot in the middle here and here, and the middle here and here. That's why you gotta fold it right there in the middle.
Oh, I see what you're
See
saying.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
speed and rotations.
Feels like it's, when it gets caught out here, like I can't actually rotate it.
Yes,
past
because it's not straight.
It's the straightness.
Pick a straight one. Pick a straight one and do it again.
Let's try.
Another dock. Docks grow like they grow like this.
So it's certainly.
You're just a glutton for punishment.
What was the first one?
Curly dock, which also grows like this. Like finding a really straight dock and a really straight burdock is a real challenge.
That's one with the seed heads on the top. They
Yeah,
get the
yeah,
seed
yeah.
real early. You can see them from the highway too, right? In patches.
They grow when they're left alone. They grow really big.
And they get real
Like
brown
they get showy. Yeah.
and real dark brown about this high.
Yes. Yeah. And the leaves are huge.
Both of those are edible, right?
We used to burdocks are so.
So this,
Burdock
so you
and
go in the
Now,
middle
in
here, right?
Japan, burdock is called
So
gobo.
I'm taking this.
Fold it right in
And
the
they
middle.
eat gobo like
Yeah,
that.
and you're cutting, just coming in a little bit and back out to the other side.
Yeah.
So, when I taught over in Japan one year, I go, this is gobo. Like this is burdock. They all know what burdock is because they eat it. They've been eating it since they were a kid. Here's the thing. It's like a carrot. A first year carrot is one that you eat. But a second year carrot, you can't eat. It's just all fiber. The second year when a stalk goes up. Because the first year there's no stalk. So this was the first time they were seeing a burdock stalk. And I was explaining to them that like the burdock root, you can't eat this one because it's a second year. Same as a carrot.
Talking about wild carrots or domestic?
Wild carrot, any carrot.
Did you get it?
Because they're basically the same, just different.
So I didn't realize that. So
Wild
once you,
carrots-
once you see the flower, you're not eating that.
No, because that's a second
Yeah.
year.
You just
Yeah.
cut from here.
So it's like a mullein.
You're right.
That's Alex
It's
with
like
great
mullen.
burdock.
There's a rosette.
Here's my last.
Next year.
Second year
so
there's a
it's-
Cedar
stalk.
fireboard.
Right.
I got this.
So how do you find a wild rabbit?
So you take
The first
here.
A wild carrot. You have to
May
May the
Look at the other
4th,
ones.
you have to look at
2
the rosette.
Oh 03.
Yeah,
go.
Have you ever done anything with
That's one
you,
week.
you ever done anything with the seed pods, the seeds?
No, I've never done.
They're very flavorful.
I've never tasted them.
It tastes like carrot.
I've heard. Do they?
Yeah.
I have to try that one here.
Yeah.
Very good.
Nice.
There you go.
Is that your first burdock?
First burdock.
First
Yeah.
burdock.
Very good,
Or
Alex.
first day. Very
Yeah, I've
good.
seen many burdock plants and I've never seen a straight enough spindle, so.
Right.
So I have
So
a
great
curly
burdock,
dock.
you eat the root. Curly dock, do you eat,
I don't know of anyone eating curly dock root. Like I don't.
you
I've
eat
never-
the leaf?
Yeah, you can.
You can eat the
seeds.
leaf.
You
It's
can
a
eat
salad.
Better
leaf,
earlier,
right?
right?
You can eat the seeds too. Curly dock
I think
seeds.
this might not be quite.
Did you grind them? Did you
It's too thin.
too
I
thin.
could tell right from here. Looking
Yeah,
at it.
I
Yeah.
was thinking that.
did
as well.
you like a porridge or did you like grind them in a flour?
Yeah, like both. I think
Hey,
it's
hey, Joe,
kind
you
of
do 12 or
nicer
you
to
do the
grind it
whole-
because it's kind of got a
It's a-
papery
it's a-
covering
don't
no matter what you
worry,
do. So grinding it into
Yeah,
flour.
they're not real big, right?
And then
The seeds.
No,
I think
it's
this
not.
one's also too thin, or was that the one? Yeah, I think you said.
It's a bamboo. Yeah. The walls look good.
All right, who's up?
Look at the world. Let's see. Oh, it's cracked.
That's a great weight.
Yeah, I didn't have your harvesting lessons.
See, I. So Alex would understand this because he does a lot of flood napping now, right? So there's just something about stone tool making where you're just knocking off flakes. That is more enjoyable than having the piece, like the finished. It's not the finished piece. It's the getting there.
The process.
That's like it's that you're really is what makes it addicting. The addicting part is the percussion and the pressure.
It is really cool when a piece comes off the right way. And
There's just something about that. So with me, to me this is addicting. To me the actual process of like building a set is so much fun is like I could sit for days
We didn't notice.
processing, like I could just take one of those bundles and sit here for a day and like not see another human being and I could give a shit. And I would be perfectly fine. And like I wouldn't even need to light them up. I just like, that's how it is for me. Hence therefore, I've had the ability to make sets upon sets upon sets. What do you need? Lotion.
Your wife's lotion.
There you go.
I did too many dots, so we really
She's gonna go, "Where's my
right in
lotion?"
the middle
Gotcha.
because those are the ones that we.
Did you make that knife?
No,
It's another
I ordered it. This is a Japanese kiridashi knife.
It's a marking knife.
It looks like a marking knife, but it's actually
A little bigger.
a knife for, and they come in both left and right, because the bevel is on one side.
Yeah.
So that's a right-handed,
What do they use it for?
for small carving. Like that's a marking, a spear tip carving knife, right? Or, I mean,
marking knife.
spear tip marking knife.
Yeah, single edge.
And this is a right hand, and this is a left hand. That's a left, because the bevel's on the other side. Because it's a single bevel,
Yeah.
it's chisel sharp. As sharp as you get a
It's
chisel.
easier to sharp. Yeah, it's
It's
easier to
easier to
sharpen.
sharpen,
You
and
can
it's
flatten
razor sharp.
You ever meet NB from Japan? NB.
Oh, I did.
Natural basketball.
I have not.
NB, like a natural basketball. That's how he says it. Can you remember my name? NB.
Natural
It's
basketball.
like, yeah.
He
that-
just wrote an NB for me. I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
can understand that. NB. He sent me a nice Japanese. He saved me for a few weeks in the summertime years ago.
Okay.
Wood axe for like carpentry axe, not for like.
A nata? Like, I don't know.
No, it's an axe head.
It's an axe head.
But it's for like shaping wood, not for like chopping branches.
Oh, okay.
It's a carpenter's axe.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's nice.
What class did you have that, Mike?
He was in my awareness class. That's when I came home with Corey, Conrad, and
Oh, cool.
David from Japan, Stefan from Canada. I had like 5 trackers.
Try to
Who's the
forget
guy?
that it's there and just spin. Get rotations and speed. Rotations and speed. Like just forget that it's there.
You can't go as deep, right?
Deep.
I mean, as far as
You could still try your best to go fingertip to palm.
that's not gonna, because it's trying to twist up there.
You should have enough length where there's enough twist where it's fine.
Oh, okay. I got it.
So you'll feel it,
What do you need?
which is really the point. Like you'll feel
Right.
you'll feel the difference.
And you know Enrique, right? Alex.
Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
yeah.
He was wasn't he? He was down.
No, he never caretakes, but he has a lot of the scout classes.
He was in Scout. He
We
was in Scout
talked.
this year.
I remember talking to him. about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
He emailed me once.
Those 6 guys came home with me one summer. My girlfriend loved that.
Nice. That must have been fun.
Yeah, they were all cool except for Stefan. He didn't last too long.
Yeah, I never met Stefan.
You're lucky.
So Nicole, that's like borderline thin. Like you could, when you pinch it, like you could see it's got a lot of flex to it. But it's close. So you tried the mullen?
Yep. Now look.
Did you know Corey from Hungary?
No.
Have you heard of
That
him?
doesn't sound familiar.
He was the only caretaker thrown out.
Is that the aspiring caveman, Corey?
Yeah.
Was that his nickname?
He's YouTube or whatever. That was
That was his.
when he took off for a while, a year or whatever.
He
He was
saw all the
removed
all
from
the
his
emails
post.
from tractor school.
What did he do?
He took the site over from Adam.
He took the what?
This
The
website. He was like doing a website for
Okay.
tractor school, and then he got kicked out of caretaking, and then he went to send an email to people from his class, and he sent it to the whole history of tractor school to all ex-students.
Or wood.
What? I get to pick an easy one or hard?
You pick whatever you like. Whatever, one you've never done, one you prefer, doesn't matter.
Since I'll try to develop.
There you go, sir. Enjoy.
Thank you.
I hope it is to your liking.
Why is everybody looking?
Don't look at me like forgetting something. Hold on. No signs. Injury. Collection of process.
When it's screeching, nothing is happening. You're not.
When you hear squeaking, you don't have enough.
Pressure.
You need pressure to bust through, or you need like a larger amount of speed and rotations to bust through.
Because
Depends.
you basically just burnished the wood, right?
Yeah, because right now you're just burnishing. Or you're, yeah.
It looks like you're not going to use
You don't
your
have
hand.
heat friction. You're just,
See, as soon as I start putting pressure on it though, when my hands go down the shaft.
right.
Try using it more in your hand.
Sorry, I'm not expecting anyone to be an expert at it. That's fine. It's just
And that's just.
it's just understanding
a little
the
practice.
process. Yeah.
You'll be
You know,
able
you
to
need to
float
just-
with more pressure, with more practice.
You should, and by pressure I mean this. like just literally just like lean
Just, oh, really?
while you're on it.
Good.
It's not really this
Okay.
as much as it is like shifting on top of it just a little bit
Yeah.
while you're doing this, because you're not even thinking of that.
Because it is, when you say you focus on the top, it is really easy to keep it that way. But as soon as you start focusing on the coal, that's, my hand starts going down.
It's actually okay for you to go down, but the thing is that when you get to the bottom, you have to stop. So everything cools down. So you have to grab it, go back to the top, and do it all over again. And you gotta bring the heat back up again where it was.
Didn't grandfather call it something at the bottom when you work your way back up to the top?
Yeah.
What do you-
There was, well,
It also looks like
It was the
continues
something
work.
flour making or whatever.
Or what?
I don't
Or
remember.
Remember-
I know
remember what I'm
It looks
saying,
like
right?
you're rolling just within the handle.
Yeah, not going.
Yeah.
But when I do that, I start losing a little control. So we can try this?
Absolutely, yeah. There's no rules.
The cheat strap?
Just don't hurt. Just don't. No blisters.
Take the skin off
after
my
leaving
hands.
today. Just no blisters. No.
How do you tell when your hands are the right moisture content?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't feel like you're slipping.
Oh, okay. It is.
Yeah. Just a drop. That's all you need.
That
Yeah, it's
good?
good.
To the other side.
That's all you need.
You have a
Rub it
fat,
until you have friction.
is that amaranth a little fatter than this?
Can I have that? Let's.
I think that might be a little bit.
Sure.
easier.
Oops. It's all good.
And you know it's in enough when you get what kind of feeling?
When it's not slippery, like it's actually like
Gripping.
it's gripping. Yeah. After a while.
When you going to Africa? What month?
End of July, beginning of August.
So that's their winter time down there
That's the great migration time.
for wildebeest?
Yeah.
Are you north of Tropic of Capricorn?
Don't know.
Were you, what country are you going to?
Tanzania.
Tanzania. One thing with the strap, you get out of that sweet spot if it's flat on the top. You ready?
Yeah, I can go.
Which one do you want?
I'm gonna try my bamboo.
I'll put that in the amaranth. Thank you. What were you using?
I
Might-
used Mullen.
I was gonna try a different roll.
Different. Oh, you need some fluff.
Yeah, I think I'll just slide it
Oh,
out.
slide it up. Well, it's right here.
Have you noticed anything different with the using evergreen
Evergreen.
as opposed to like the different fluff? It doesn't matter,
No, I'll use dirt.
really.
I just need to raise the floor.
Floor up.
As long as it's dry. I was in Japan and I was demonstrating and I realized I didn't have any dust with me. And I went into the kitchen and I grabbed the salt shaker and I emptied the salt shaker. I'm like, I don't care, I just need to raise the floor.
Nice.
Yeah, true,
Well,
true story.
And this happens to be a benefit. You get an extra benefit because it helps to build the coal
Well, you're not
if you need. Right?
you're not going longer and longer. What you're not waiting for the pile to even get
Right.
like you're saving yourself energy and time. Like you have to save yourself from yourself. So-
Because usually the depth is usually then how much of a
Well,
fire.
it depends on your board, right? So, so the boards that I make are not so big, right? That it's
It's rough
if
to
you
hear.
yeah, like it can't be like it's. How do I do this? The board isn't like so big that you're like right, and you lose your balance. But it's not also so thin that you go through the board. So each board allows for 2 or 3 attempts, right? While you still have the ability to just stand on it. Like it has to be at a height where you can kneel on it.
Is it proportional? The depth of the board is proportional to the size.
No, that's just kind of a thing that
Guideline?
is said. Like we say that for Bojo, right? Like
Right.
spin
Yeah.
bars,
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, that just helps people remember that it shouldn't be wildly beyond any other measurement.
So it's in that neighborhood
Yeah,
kind of thing.
so
What, have you noticed the difference between the sapwood and the heartwood, the cedar, or a bit nominal?
it depends on the species. So,
Like Atlantic white cedar.
right, so that's western red cedar. Usually the sapwood is softer than the hardwood. So, but it's close enough where it really doesn't matter. For the Bojo species, I think it's fine. Yeah, that's a good question.
I did notice a little bit of difference with the grain texture.
You can see it, right?
Well,
So-
not like when I was doing bow drills.
Yeah,
If you had a lot of, that made it harder or easier sometimes, it seemed like.
true.
This
true.
is, I feel like it's harder with this thing on. I have this on set.
Well, do you put your thumbs
You're
through
gonna fold that in half.
You gotta double
both of
that.
these, like,
So double it over and then flip.
like this, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I did that.
yeah, and but this has to be doubled up, going through the top.
Needs to be doubled up.
Fold in half, yeah. Your thumb's down.
Some of these have stars on there. Is that?
A star means I got a
I see
cold
what you're saying.
off that spindle.
Yep.
Otherwise, because I'm not gonna remember, like not at all.
I think I might
So-
try another spin though. I feel like the only thing, I think this is pretty good, but I feel like it's a little bit bent at the top, so
Takes a little getting used to.
And I was telling him, if you're using them, you leave that sweet spot. If it is straight and bent in the middle, your
Yeah,
hands
let
are
me
down
try a different
farther.
You always want to try to at least have really great materials.
I felt like
Like,
I
and one of that is like making sure it's like dead straight as best you can.
Can you heat straighten these too, like wood?
Yeah, I mean, you can. Plant stalks, it's not gonna work. Because of their hollowness, they're just not gonna take. You'll end up like just breaking.
So it's a no,
it.
that's a no.
I might help with that actually.
And you don't want to be fixing where you collected.
Because we can't
You wanna
have
just
fire
take-
without a good.
You just want to take the time to find
Yeah.
better materials.
But also, you talk about adding processing time. That's huge, right? I mean,
Is there another spin level?
It does.
What do you want?
You know what it does work on, Joe?
I'm sorry, say again?
It does work. Talking to her.
I'll try the elder.
So it does work on bamboo, but it's usually bigger
We
bamboo.
should try the River King.
I should try the River King.
It's like Harry Potter ones.
That's what I thought when I was looking at it. Oh.
Hawthorne.
Right, it's like, alright, black walnut, 12 inches, pliable. I forgot what it was.
Dragon Tooth.
In one class, I was like joking that I'm the, What's his name? who's the blonde man?
Take your time.
Or it starts with an L, right?
I feel like I could just.
I can't even think of his real name now. He was a guy from Alien.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna just.
But may he rest in peace, by the way.
Yes.
He was a great actor.
I clearly need to practice.
Ollivander.
What was his name? His character name?
Ollivander.
Oliver.
Ollivander. I joked in one class, I'm like, I'm the Ollivander Willy Wonka of firemen.
What was his real name? It was John
John Hurt.
Hertz. That's
John
it.
Hurt.
Yeah, because there was two John Hertz back then. The English one and the American.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, do you have the one that you're practicing with? Practice a little bit more.
How does that feel?
Sounds good.
Look how straight that
He's
is.
been practicing.
I was just.
It's just
thinking
dead. I love that stuff.
It's so
Dead
fun.
straight.
I don't think I'm getting
It's
any
really
pressure.
light.
Well, you got the technique down.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
your
very
technique looks
satisfying to
good.
just watch it
Sounds good.
spinning.
I've gotten a bunch of calls from that. It's so beautiful.
You're making
That's a little bit of fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll,
it's smoking.
Let me try this thing.
Where are you coming from?
Pennsylvania, Lancaster.
Lancaster? Oh yeah, out there. Pennsylvania.
That's it.
How long did it take you to get here?
Hour and 40 minutes.
That's what? Took me longer to get here than you. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I was gonna say, I mean, for me, I'm about an
That's
hour
from back
and
when
20
I'm like,
minutes.
Yeah,
I
mine
don't
was like
understand what
2.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were over 2 getting him, right?
By the time I got him, yeah.
I mean, even from where he was.
Where he was, where I'm about the same, but then to
Okay.
get to him, I had to. So yeah, a little over 2 altogether, probably. Well, about 2. Really.
I used to work with a lot of guys from that area.
Speed, rotations.
Flexible work.
That's the sound we're looking for. That's the sound.
Farfield Electric was out there. A lot of guys came from that
My
company.
hand's burning. I can feel the heat.
Yes.
In the 60s.
You're still there.
Oops.
Just bring it up.
And the farther east you go, the more money you make, so they would always.
Yeah.
They didn't bother, they didn't mind traveling.
Of course.
There we go.
I can smell it.
I can see it. The sausage.
The massage when they give you some blood and you get that.
Blood and milk.
My hand's slipping on it. It's fine.
You know, one guy was working it last year was from Conestoga.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right where I'm at.
Oh, is it? I got the
Yeah,
idea.
I'm in the southern
That's no problem.
city, but
Cool.
he's right there.
Yeah. Ready, Joe?
Did you take?
What do you?
Oh yeah, I'll take a little bit of that too.
Lidditz. I think the company was
I'd like
in,
to try this,
Lidditz.
but I also like.
We're the
Yeah,
guys
which
in
one?
Manheim and
Yeah,
all
sure.
over that area.
There was one I saw that I liked. Is it the purple blue stripe? Was that the one?
Oh,
that
you don't
stripe?
want that.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Unless you're like,
No,
you're
no,
just
no.
gonna try it.
I thought it was.
Unless you're a good, a really
Yeah,
strong,
unless
unless
you-
you're a really strong wizard, you don't.
The one above it is
It's kind of
mothball.
amazing how strong
That's,
this
I think that's what you're looking at. Because
Yeah.
purple
I think
Blue stripe is not there.
through the top of it. or
on the.
something.
Oh yeah, mothmelon.
It's
That's
it's
the
not
one I want.
spinning.
Mothball.
This one.
Yeah, it's not.
It's,
It
it's
grabs
twist,
it.
it's just
Yeah.
twisted.
It's the
Yeah,
name is on top.
yeah
It's actually
if that
just-
wasn't spinning, you drove right through it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I took the purple blue
I'm
stripe
gonna get
out.
this technique down.
So you gotta put this in the middle of your hand.
What's that?
You gotta put that in the middle of your hand.
That's it.
This
Yeah,
can
that's what's your line in your middle
can
finger.
go back to River King.
River King.
Here, I'll take it.
But then
This one
you
you have
cut
on
this,
board,
you
the
got that
purple
edge.
Yes.
To see where you're at, so you're not pushing, kind of keep you on track.
Pretty sure. So I have to work on my black mustard. It's my challenge right now. Oh, so as I was saying in the restaurant, when it comes to hand drill, these are my next projects. Bojo woods as hand drills.
And you've never tried this?
I haven't tried them yet. I haven't
Have
tried
you ever
them
done
yet.
any
So I
solid
just,
wood as hand drill?
what's that?
Have you done any solid wood as hand drill?
I'm not doing them solid. I'm going to drill them to the proper wall
You're gonna,
thickness.
you're cheating.
And I'm just going, because in the many months that we've been training here,
Sorry.
every single one of the drill methods is exactly what Kevin did here. So all ends of the drill get illumined. So, and the reason for that is that when you do bow drill, because I've explained this, when you do bow drill, like let's say your regular cedar bow drill, right? When you're done and you look at the end of the spindle, you notice that it's round, right? It's rounded off. So, yet you have to ask yourself why it always ends up being round. And the reason for that is because the outside always spins faster than the inside, right? So logically, therefore, the entire center is always in your way.
Yeah, because
So what we've learned from the lesson of the hand drill, right?
he's good at it.
What we've learned from the lesson of how we're able to spin a hand drill
I didn't like how thin it was.
is because there is no center. Because all the friction is on the outside, which also spins the fastest. The center doesn't even spin fast, it spins slower.
Well, if you look at it this
So the
way,
whole center is like in your way.
And the pith.
So
kind
just remove the center.
of- doesn't the pith
wanna
kind
break?
of trap the
The
heat?
pit does
wanna break
absolutely
or you
nothing.
Yeah, yeah. It is.
Does the center?
It's just filled with sponge, like it doesn't do. There's really no.
Doesn't
It's just there.
capture the heat in
It's
there?
just there. No, no,
Nothing?
It's just there.
Okay.
That's a hypothesis of many.
Right.
Is that it's a heat chamber, like it holds the heat,
Right.
things like that. But when you use other spindles, like the River Cane, which have no pull, and you still get a pull, it's not because of the pith, right?
Makes sense.
It's because you balanced wall thickness with all 10 of the
Right.
things. Like you got enough speed, you got enough rotation, it was the right density. Like there's all these other variables, but it's not that. So whenever possible, as fire maker, as firekeeper,
you're up to something.
if lives are actually on the line, you train yourself to remove the middle of the spindle. You train yourself to do that because that's what's going to save lives, because you're going to get the fire. Now, if you want to practice by leaving the center in there, fine. But when lives are on the line, you remove the center of the spindle because it increases your chance of saving everyone's life, if that's your responsibility. So we should train that way. But you could practice making things difficult for yourself if you want. Does that make sense?
I got it.
Okay.
So I always found with the bow drill, getting some clean quartz sand,
To bust through the glaze, yeah.
and I mean, and then it's like now you get past that and it's just pumping out.
Yeah. Go. 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 You can do it. Spin it.
Helps it mean,
Spin.
Just starts rolling down and getting a ton of char. I just always had a lot of
going.
Yeah,
That's up to you.
especially when it's really like burnished, you know what I mean?
Same way.
But it's applying pressure like that. And putting your whole body and pressing, that's how you destroy your hands.
Yeah, nothing.
It's challenging today, right?
I took my one daughter out into the woods in
good.
January.
Oh, good. Which one was that?
Elderberry.
Elderberry. elderberry, very
She was
nice.
struggling with it, and that's exactly what I did. I said, take a little bit of the sand here,
Yep.
and she put it right in there, and it just made it right up. And she had to look at it her first
That's
time.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
A lot of people I notice with bow drills, the technique is, they're not paying attention to the technique. Like, you weren't there for the Boy Scout camp, me, Adam, and Jimmy. And those kids like, oh, put your wrist here and this and that. Like, okay, then next thing, it's like 10 times in a row. It's like, holy shit, these kids are like, they were trying really hard, but if you don't have that,
Do you want to go around again, or you want to do move on to?
I know you want to do more, go ahead.
I mean,
Here.
I'm always
What's that?
I was gonna have
always
Alex
keen,
see
but if you
if
want to
can
move on to
go.
something else, we can do that too.
She wants you to try
I
with the
just want to know if
bamboo.
I harvested well.
Oh,
Give Alex the hard one.
You wanna take a look?
Well, I just finished the tip down there.
These are the
The problem is that-
that he said he wanted
that's a
to.
knobbly. I'd probably
Tackle.
just float below it.
Yes.
It's a little bit bent anyway, so I probably want to be a little bit lower
Did
than
it do
that.
that work so you don't miss them all?
Good luck with that.
Good.
It definitely takes practice
You were
to
so
float it up like that.
Oh, they do.
For a
They
while,
like how
with
it-
pressure.
They come in and I listen to them.
Leaning,
I
You-
know.
not the hand pressure.
Here's what I find is hardest for
You're
everyone.
listening to them because they're complaining.
It's breaking out of doing it the old way.
Yeah, sure.
Because what you do is you start struggling a little bit with just floating, and you just revert back to like pressure and forcing your way down.
Yeah.
You have to break yourself out of that habit. Either it's floatable or it's not. If you didn't float, if you don't think you could float it, you just have to tell yourself, listen, I'm going to use the pressure bunkers.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, yeah.
And I'm not going to do it. Or if
So that is what you got.
if the set is solid enough, you could try a mount drill,
Yeah.
like if it's large enough.
Now, it doesn't matter that all that debris on top.
No, it should be okay.
Can we all get one of these to go home with?
I could break it up to
You
you.
have 2 10s for a 20? Joe, you got a 10 on you? Oh, I got a 10.
I give you 10 2.5s in there.
Yeah.
You can just drill it straight down. It might be a little on the thin side.
It's ten, yeah. So then you're supposed to find the same.
Yeah, I did.
Almost.
It ended up with a lot of side pressure because it
you.
went
Oh, what's
straight
that?
through the board.
I didn't
Or is that, oh, is that okay?
Do we get a color replacement?
I don't pay attention to anything. I'm like, whatever.
So you've donated to St. Jude's before?
It's, since we've started, that's how I've just set it up.
So, I'm saying, have you ever done it before?
Have I ever done,
Donated to St. Jude's before?
no.
You would know. They send you a lot.
Yeah, I know they just keep
It's,
sending
I'm
me
like,
shit, yeah.
why are you wasting all
It
this
just doesn't
money?
have, I mean,
I just gave you a 2-year donation.
I get the emails, like I have donated with them.
Oh, no, I get all the mailings.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah. I have so many return ads.
I haven't done it that way.
Well, they didn't have to do it.
Yeah, but you're wasting.
It's a lot of, I know, it's a lot.
Yeah. I understand why they do it, it's the numbers thing, but
I just get their emails.
you gave me your email?
Yeah. But I get like 1 week.
That's not bad.
I get 1 week. It's alright. Like I'm like on all the woodworking places. So I get Rockler and I get
Workers
Woodcraft
Warehouse.
and I get them all every single day. I get more of them
Oh.
every day than I
REI.
get St. Jude's.
REI's really bad too.
Or they,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to block them soon.
I think it's just carting straight through too
I want to
fast.
show off of them too.
That's what it looks like.
I
It's
didn't have to
yeah.
block them. I was getting so
So
much.
you could
My-
use a harder
because I use
hot
iCloud.
baseboard,
Either and
right?
if
Well,
you
I-
did that,
You need more pressure.
you would need more
Oh,
pressure,
really?
and then you would need that.
If I get something like that, they start sending it.
That was good.
It'll just
Those were good runs.
I like to block them so they know
Yeah.
I'm blocking them.
So I need a new
Purpose.
flow work to go with that. That's what you're saying.
So
What happened? I missed it. Did you get a call?
it looks a
The
little.
drill just kind of went straight through the board.
Drill through?
Which, you know, and even with a quite a significant amount of downward pressure, the powder stayed a lightish color.
It is light.
Yeah.
It's light colored.
So
So
it
you know,
wasn't.
you know you weren't getting the heat.
It wasn't able to give back, and it eventually started having a lot of sideways, sidewall pressure, which, yeah, undid the effort ultimately.
Do you have Julie's book?
Whose book?
You're by Julie's book?
I don't think.
The drill?
Her Bojo.
Julie started.
Huh?
I don't.
Julie started what?
Started. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Well, that's not her. She's Martin.
Oh, that's
They're
right.
not married.
Oh, no.
No, I don't have a book.
But it explains like for beginners, like color and shape and
Yes.
everything, which is good. But she has the same problem I have. I can't find it.
Yeah.
Can't
I
find
It's
have-
a smaller book.
Yeah.
It's just a little pamphlet.
Oh yeah, it's a pamphlet.
Yeah.
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 But
I've got other people's like pamphlet books on like Bojo and things like that downstairs. Yeah, but I don't have hers.
So,
I have to add it to my
try
collection.
the pressure thumb brace. Can I try
Which would you like?
Or sweet, maybe.
You don't even have to ask.
A sense of hope in the near future.
Yeah, look at the endless.
Wow.
Did your brothers ask when your freaky friends are coming back again? You can't-
No, they didn't ask yet.
You were taking them in the woods?
When they were a little younger, but now they got their own
They got
stuff
other
going
interests
on.
now.
And
So
got
these,
kids and school.
regarding the top five, right? That my top five doesn't have to be anyone's top five. Horseweed, just so everyone gets an idea. It meets the 10 qualifications. that we
Even though
went
it's
over.
the wall so thick?
Straight. You have to kind of really look what is actually pith and what is actually
Because
wall.
the pith is thicker than it looks like.
Yeah. Like when you start scraping in there and you clean out sometimes, what's really wall and what's
Can you
really...
finish processing these?
No, they're just
Okay.
fine. Yeah, so all of these are not processed. Right? So Teasel,
Yeah, the walls do.
That's not
Nice.
processed.
not processed.
You didn't scrape the
I
outside?
took the little thorns off, but that was it. And I took the
What is this one?
I took the branches off, but that was it.
Super light also.
Giant
Yeah, you see the second layer.
giant ragweed.
This one you can see better. That one's harder to see.
You can feel it though.
But there's no pit, right? It's practically.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's the pith is small, but then you realize there's more pith in there. That one is a little bit. This, wait till you see this one. It's really quite different. Which one was this?
That is horseweed. No,
That's the horseweed.
that's horseweed.
Horseweed,
Teasel.
What's this?
teasel, giant ragweed,
Giant rag.
prickly lettuce. It's one of my most favorites. Prickly lettuce.
Wild lettuce, is it the same thing? I guess. you
I don't
gotta
know.
look at
It
the,
depends on the
Yeah.
what you're looking at.
Some of these are very big.
Very big.
You could almost make a Bojo with these.
So what we would discuss in October is I consider the mouth drill the method between hand drill and bow drill. So whereas there's a preference for the largest hand drill to be 1/2 inch in diameter, and bow drill is like 3/4 of an inch. A mouth drill should be about 5/8. So it's literally like right in between. So these ones, these teasels, they would probably make really good mouth drill spindles. They look just the right size.
So all these big ones aren't for all hand drill then?
No,
And then what one?
because I haven't like really gone through them. Like I harvested them and I like threw them away.
You're just getting in and getting out. Harvesting it.
Yeah, because you
Put the
know,
top trays up.
I'm just.
And this is a myth that ragweed causes allergies, right?
It doesn't bother me,
No, I'm saying it's,
that
I
I'm aware of.
thought that was a general myth.
I'm sure it bothers,
Some people, but there's
Like
so much,
right-
so much pollen in the.
yeah, right now, it's like the
How
pollen
do
is
you-
like, it's like crazy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just pollen in general. I don't think there's enough ragweed in the area to really be. So here's Canada lettuce. But what's really key about Canada lettuce is the farther you go up, the definitely more fragile it is. So when you start going like this, it has a higher chance that it's just going to shatter on you up here. So it's not stable enough up here, even though this is okay down here for the base. So, I mean, it looks like, oh, that looks really awesome until you crack it between your hands. So. So where are we? Right here. Okay. All right.
Which one's
Can I
that?
see
Is
the
that
It's the River King.
River King?
word again?
The giant ragweed gets pretty big, huh?
Oh, they get really big.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know if I ever
I'll
seen
try
it
to-
before.
Yeah, you know, I'll play with those other ones here.
So you don't mess with thistle at all because of the thorns and stuff?
No, it's really easy to process because the teasel thorns are not a big deal. Bull thistle thorns are you'd think you were in hell.
And that's,
Like they're like is another level of hell trying to process.
and that's the flower heads you use for blowguns, right?
Correct.
Bull thistle?
Yeah, well, Doug Meyer really loves those.
Yeah, I did a class with him and Julie.
Isn't he amazing? We have yet to meet. Actually, we're Facebook friends.
Have you seen it make it dark yet?
But like, oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, he just like whips too much.
Who is it?
Doug Myers.
That's how you
It's
know.
on Facebook.
Don?
You could just
Doug.
oh, he's done that a
He
million
wrote-
times.
He actually wrote a book on
Blowgun.
Cherokee blowguns. That's the blowgun Alice he was shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him. Really good at making blowguns and the darts. And he's actually killed monkeys down in the Amazon. But it wasn't the same type. He actually made it traditional. Because down there, they're like 8 to 12 foot long. We're shooting pretty far. But also,
Yeah, their blowguns down there are really like huge.
yeah, but they're super light. And on like that, you're hunting like this, you don't have to hold it horizontal.
Hey, because I'm tired, so I have to use it.
Now, to me, it seemed like I was not able to get the full rotations with the
And you got clearance for your wife to burn the
crusher
rug.
thumb brace.
Everyone is just not used to having that there.
Okay.
I think
There
it's
comes a
psychological.
point where you just have to stop thinking that it's there and just spin the spindle.
Right.
Well, it's kind of like the
Like
practice.
just spin the spindle, spin the spindle. Just forget that it's there and lean on it and spin the spindle.
Sight never gets enough.
It feels weird at first, but
It does feel weird, like it took me a long time to kind of just like,
Oh, now you fellas?
the point is to get started. If you don't start, you're not gonna, you don't know where to go. You don't know where to go from here. Set my house on fire. All right, so here's what I could do for days on end and not have to speak or look at another human being. That's processing.
Just code for getting away from your wife.
All right, everybody can leave. I think it's important to have a table to work on. And you have to kind of have a set of tools that you like working with. But it's a matter of finding those tools. So I had a course one.
What are you looking for?
I was working on I started on a course read as an example.
That's one of these over here?
It might be. That's Doc. It's not one of those. It really doesn't matter. Just do this one. So I have my, so I went through my 10 qualifications, right? So, I mean, that's a beautiful piece right there. Cylindrical, straight, it's about 7/16 of an inch, right? The walls seem to be about the right size, so, but you don't know till you know, till you're like down. So,
Your couch is right.
here's the blue.
Do we want to put that, pull it out, or do we just want
Someone was gonna step on it, cut themselves with it.
to? Alright, just make
There's
sure
a
I have
blue
this on
pry bar. The one with the, yeah. I just moved it over. So
It's over here. Is this it?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Sound here.
I don't know how you have eyes to see about through me, but it's like, if you go to the paint section of the hardware store, they have some scrapers. So they have these things where you like, either you're scraping paint or like if you glue something together, you can take the glue off, right? But they come with these sharp edge flat, you want flat really, scrapers. Right.
Same principle as the cabinet scraper?
Same, in a sense, yeah. So it's a plain meaning tool. A plain blade has a single edge on it. So the backside is flat. And the sharp edge is made just by going down on an angle, and it's the sharpest edge you can have.
So it's like the back edge of your knife to put a burr on.
Yes, except it's your knife is probably convex.
Depending how.
Is right, depending. So when you go to the store, there's different kinds of scrapers. There's this little one, same thing. Otherwise, so what this does is you can hold it like this, and you want a table. Like you don't want to do this freehand because you're fighting yourself. So you lay it on something and you pull, because this is the strongest motion, and you're doing it repetitively. So and you just work your way, and work your way down and you just keep going and keep going. Otherwise, what are you doing? You have your knife and you're gonna hold this, and you, again, you want this on a table. You don't wanna fight your own arm. So you're gonna use your knife and you're gonna scrape that way if you don't have one of these to go to pull with. Okay? You want to make this process as enjoyable as possible. You don't want to make it more work for yourself. The other key is to have a really sharp knife that you enjoy working with, like your favorite knife. So my favorite kind of knife is a Kiridashi Japanese knife. It's a knife with a angled chisel point. So the back is flat. It's literally a chisel on an angle. So the back is flat like a chisel, and there's a single bevel edge. And these come in two types, a right hand and a left hand. So the bevel, if it's a left hand, the bevel's on this side, right? So this one's right-handed. What's really nice about these is that since the back is flat, you go to the flat spot that's on the spindle, and everything just stays flat because the back is flat. It won't dive into the wood unless you actually tip the angle. It actually just cuts straight across as long as the back is flat. So if there's a bump on here, there's a bump on there. If I lay this flat and I just cut along the plane of the back of the spindle, it's going to cut it flatly straight across without it diving or going up.
What kind of knife do you call it? Japanese?
Kiridashi. Kiridashi. But my work, this is the most enjoyable knife that I work with when I'm processing, and I really enjoy this process. So, what's really nice too is the tip. It's really strong and super sharp. So when I want to take just like a little thing off, you can really get in there and just scrape the tiniest things off. Like it's amazing. And you just use your thumb. You just work it really carefully. I love this process. I forget there's other humans around now. The other one is you can buy a pry bar. And I flattened the back, and I beveled the top end, and I made a scraper. So, and this is a really cheap one. If you can't find one of these for whatever reason, you'll find a small pry bar, and you could do the same. So I would go like this. It's a nice, comfortable position. It's supported. I get the work done. I just constantly turn. And of course, this depends on the species you're working with. Okay, so prickly lettuce has a lot of bumps on it, but it's really easy to work. You can see it has a lot of branch nubs on it, right? But they're really easy to work. So it doesn't take too long to just take them down. So I go to the flat spot and I just carve, just turn it slowly, carve with the flat back. And now it's flat and round. So it's really nice. And it doesn't take long, and it's an enjoyable process. So I would round the top when I'm done. If it looks, there's a slight curve here. So if I don't care, I'll go where the straightness ends and where it bends, and I'll just cut that off. So I'll just dive, dive a little bit, dive. It's hollow, right? So you gotta be careful. And then I would just round that off. And now it's perfectly straight. I took the curve out on the top. So, but it takes a little practice. So, if you're going to gather a lot, which I'm sure at some point Nicole will do, because she has access to a lot of materials, I don't recommend really huge bundles. Bundles should be manageable. So, what is the size of a bundle you should be able to manage? I highly recommend these mini bungees. There's a pack of like 20 for $7 at Walmart. And this should be the size of your bundle. Like that's it. That's the size of your bundle. But when you have small bundles, when you have bundles that you could wrap your hand around, hair bands are best. Not rubber bands,
Hairband.
hair bands. Hair bands are best.
Maybe some for fishing.
Eventually, rubber bands will, they won't just like break. They get brittle. They just fall apart after a while. Because I've had bundles of these sitting in my basement for like 15 years, and I'll go back and I'll pick up a bundle that was wrapped with a rubber band, and the rubber band is literally just like falling, and nothing happened. It wasn't exposed to the weather, like nothing. Like it just disintegrated completely on its own.
Well, I know what they are. I have 3 teenage girls with long hair. I have millions of those around.
Then you're good.
Everywhere.
So, hair bands for small bundles, mini bungees for, I don't know what you would call that.
Large bundles.
A large bundle, but not too large, just enough to manage. So, having this set of calipers is really ideal. And until you can eyeball what a good size is, it's really good to know what you're getting, right? So, I know it's upside down for you, I'm sorry. So like 0.48, 0.5. So we're right at half an inch. So you go around 0.49, 0.48, 0.5, right?
What's
So-
0.25?
Quarter inch. Are you testing me? So, alright.
Is that that's a digital caliper?
It's a digital caliper right now.
Okay.
They have
Here's-
manual ones too that are cheap and work just as good.
So there's the one that has the arrow on it, and you go up and down, and
Dialing.
but that was the one that I always used to work with. But then after a while, I'm like, where? And then I have to like pull it out. I'm like, okay, so that's half an inch, and then this is. I recommend just doing the digital, so it just gives you a number. Like there's the number. Like just do that instead of like looking. Okay, so like you can look here, but it's like,
Oh, really?
is it 21? Is it 22? Like I don't know. It just tells you the number. I'm gonna step on these and I'm gonna cut my foot
Can I
open.
see that?
Yes,
You sharpen these yourself then?
I do. Yeah, since I also do woodworking, I first trained myself on. There's a plane. It comes with a blade. I trained myself to like how to sharpen a plane blade, and once I started getting a key, I'm like, this is no problem to
There's
sharpen.
2 bevels, right? There's the big bevel.
There's the
and then
primary. There's a
another.
primary, a secondary, and sometimes a tertiary
Can I see that?
bevel. Sure.
You seen contests with the planes in Japan.
Oh yeah, yeah. I watch them all the time. Like they measure them on the micron. It's a micron level that they're like.
How thin they can shave off.
Yeah,
They come
and,
off-
and also the length of it too.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah?
Yeah.
They have to do one complete. I don't know what you call them, sheet. One complete shaving
Yeah.
down the entire
Board.
beam that they're shaving with, and some of the plane blades are like this big. Like, and the shaving that's coming off is like it's transparent. Like you can
It's
you
like
can see through
it's
it.
thinner than paper.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it a smooth?
yeah. They go nice and easy
Yeah.
because they know that if they chatter it, they're done.
Yeah, you can't.
You've
tear
lost
it.
the contest already. Like it's got to be one complete.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I spend so much time sharpening. Just I can't wait for this sheet to come off.
So today, these are all my recommendations, but the main, if you walk away with anything today, it's don't injure yourself and don't teach others to injure themselves. Don't say, keep going, keep going. Fight through it, like,
And
don't
that's
do
all
that.
you see with hands.
That's all, see, that's the
Yeah.
problem. This is really, I can't say it enough. I can't drill it in people's heads enough. And you will revert to the old way of doing it if you've done hand drill before. Like you're just gonna,
Yeah, if you're in a survival situation and you really need a fire, you're done. You get calluses, you can't. You know, your bleeding hands are.
you're gonna be done. But if it's, and you can't just think of it as yourself. You have to think of it like, if other lives were on the line, like your kids were with you, for example. How do I really make sure that everything is to our advantage for us to survive? And that includes putting your oxygen mask on before everybody else. Like you have to save yourself to make sure that everyone lives.
You don't do your kids first.
Right? Right? Don't do that. So,
That's
I was reminded, because I'm a nurse and I work for not just one, but I work for 5
I don't have
nursing companies.
it. I know.
And the thing is that with each company, they have to make sure that your skills every year have to kind of be tested a little bit. So they put you through these modules online. So I don't have to just do that once. I have to do that 5 times because I work for 5 different
jeez.
companies. So every year I have to look forward to, okay, it's time to do your modules. And it's like 2 hours each one.
oh,
Like you just go through that and go through them, and I'm like, please somebody shoot me. So, but there is something nice about it in that you're constantly reminded of things. If you, because in your work sometimes you forget about things. But you're forced to go through these modules, but like this is a perfect example of. So what I did was I screenshotted some of the modules, and it talks about pressure injuries. Now, if you've probably all of us kind of know someone or have experienced that we know someone who has had some kind of has been laid up in bed for a long time and have had pressure injuries, like a coccyx injury, like they're in bed. And they get a pressure ulcer.
Aren't they called bed sores?
Yeah, right. So that's what this is. It's the best way to describe what is happening, except on an acute. This is a chronic level, where someone is sitting, okay, in bed, and there's moisture. There's friction because they're constantly falling down the bed. There's a constant pulling of the skin while they're in bed 24/7 while they're sitting like this here. Okay. The pressure pushes the blood out of the skin. Like, my hands are red, right? If I go like this,
Turns
you can see it's white and then it goes red again, right? That's because I push the blood out of the skin and then the blood goes back. Well, what happens is when you have a constant amount of pressure, there's no blood there all the time. Blood is what transports oxygen and fuel to all the cells in that area. So for 24/7, those cells get no fuel and no oxygen. And then you have shear and friction and moisture. And then there's just cell death. Okay? Now that's just chronic. Now what happens if you do that acutely? Really quick. The trauma there is exactly the same. It's moisture, friction, shear, and you're forcing the blood out of those cells because they're not getting oxygen, they're not getting fuel. And what happens is, right? Try to remember. Blanchable. See, this is practically just funny, right? Decrease friction and shear. This is for patients, when you have a patient, to avoid them getting pressure ulcers, from getting bed sores. Decrease friction and shear. The first line here, avoid vigorous massage over bony prominences. That's the first line to avoid friction and shear. What is this? While giving it your all, in your mind, going, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Like, just keep going. Like, I'm gonna go. I gotta get this wire. Like, it's right there. Like, it's so funny. Some of these might be a little, right? So this gentleman has a pressure ulcer right here. And what's that from?
Football helmet or glasses?
His oxygen mask.
Oh.
Just the fact that he has to wear a non-rebreather around here 24/7, that pressure alone right here did that. Like, alone. That's a chronic thing.
Like he has lung issues.
So, pressure injury, stage 1. Intact skin with non-blanchable erythema. So what that means is, the non-blanchable means it's red, but when I go like this, it doesn't turn white, it stays red. Like, that's real damage. Like, it's just red and it stays red. Like, that's not good. So there's a stage 1. Okay. Stage 2, it might be hard to see. Partial thickness with skin loss. This, I've definitely experienced this one doing hand tooling. It's blistering, but your skin is actually many layers. And the fact that when you go like this, you're just tearing these layers apart. And what happens is the inflammation happens immediately and fluid just rushes into that area.
And the pulples.
And those skin layers don't go back. They're filled with fluid now. And then the skin layers on top, they're not getting perfused with blood anymore. So there's definitely, absolutely no more oxygen and fuel going to those layers. That's gonna die. Like, all that skin is dead, right? But now you have an open wound. So now you're open to infection, right? And you do this, we do this to ourselves. Because I still, to this day, a decade later, after saying to myself, I'm never doing this again, a decade later, I still find myself that when I struggle with floating, I get right into the old bad habit again. Like I still do it. It's like a heroin addict. Like I just go right back into it. And I have to remind myself, no, no,
Well, you're
No.
almost there. It's almost there.
I'm like, stop. I'm like, no. I have to go, no, stop. Either it's floatable or not floatable. I have to remind myself, even to this day. And then it gets worse. Stage 3, total skin loss. Now you have an open wound. Right? And then it gets worse. Stage 4, you can see cartilage and bone. Right? Because it's just. I've seen a bunch of those. My wife and I had to take care of a neighbor that had one of those, and we were in there. How that gets fixed is what's called packing. You take this sterile bandage and you take tweezers and you just
Pack it full.
you pack it in there until it's sticking out. Like it's like a baseball full of stuff in there. And then you put a gauze on top of it. And then the next day, you take the gauze off and you pull it all out. It's like a magic trick.
Yeah. I see it. I saw it.
And then you try to like wash it out like with sterile saline or whatever. And then you do it again. And you do this every day until
So it's
finally it's
sealed?
closed over.
So is that the kind they put maggots in? Eat the dead flesh?
It depends, yeah. What you need to know now is that they, in a way, they try to sterilize the maggots, so there's definitely, that they're not germ carriers themselves.
Yeah.
That they're clean, but they're actually debriding meaning removing
The
dead
dead
tissue.
They don't eat the live
Yeah,
tissue, right?
they won't eat the live tissue, they'll eat the dead tissue. So
Probably
what we're,
sterilized maggots.
I know, it's
Well,
really
I'll
weird,
talk
right?
Well, they have companies, they're hospitals.
They still
create
use
maggots.
they will still use leeches.
Yeah, for
Yeah, for
flow.
blood flow circulation.
Sure.
So now you're open to infection. So you're gonna die now. You're gonna die now because there's no antibiotics out in the woods.
That's
Right.
advice on my ex.
But if you
Sure,
survive,
What are you talking about? What do you mean
if
there's
you
no
if you survive, the wound starts filling in from the inside up. This is called granulation. There's a medical term for it. So the wound starts filling in from below with new tissue until it gets to the surface again.
That's why you can't use comfort on something.
And then, that's why you don't want to throw stuff in there, because you just want to, you have to let it come up. And then epithelialization will take over. That means the top layer of skin will start growing over that wound finally, hopefully.
So is,
Right.
that, is that scar tissue that's growing up with the filling in part?
It-
or is it
Epithelialization is not really scar tissue, connective tissue. It's more like skin tissue.
I meant the step
Because
before that.
I don't know about you,
Okay.
but like I've taken like dime nickel sized pieces of skin off blister wise from mandrel through the years, but I can't say I have scar tissue there. So
Right.
it's epithelial
Right.
tissue, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So, all right. So, just remember,
So once you have damage, it takes a long time to recover.
yeah, and that's the thing. You've opened yourself up to infection. You know what I try to think of. If you ever saw, what's that war movie
The what?
with Matt Damon?
War movie.
It's the invasion of Normandy Beach.
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan. So, Tom Hanks, they invade the beach, and they get the Bangalores, and they throw the Bangalores over the barricade to get through, and they go, Bangalores, it's gonna blow, and they blow it open, and they go, this way! Those are all the germs running into your wound. all the germs on your hand go, this way! We're through the barricade. That's what I think of every time you do that. That's what they're all saying. That's what they're doing. So, me and my crazy visualization. So don't do this to yourself. don't let others do this to themselves. Stop them and teach them the right way, and if they do this to themselves, that's not your fault. They do that to themselves. But
So
at
what do you
least-
go, are you done? I'm talking.
Sure, go ahead. Sure, please.
What do you have, quarter and 7/16 and 3/8?
I have half inch, what's supposed to be 7/16 and 3/4. It didn't come out exactly that way for some reason.
3/8.
3/8. I'm sorry. 3/8.
So 3/8, 7/16 and half inch.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna make these anymore.
Why?
I think, because I think I'm just gonna make all the sockets just half an inch, because the 3/8 and the half and the 7/16, there's no need to make each size socket.
You're just
If
stabilizing.
you just make a
don't
half
start.
inch, it's just gonna fit there anyway, so there's really no point. So, but I had to do it to figure it out, I guess. Like, it doesn't matter. So, but it was fun playing around, like trying to do it. So. I have a bunch of these downstairs in all the Bojo woods, like, so I got Eastern Hemlock, and I got all the cedars, and I got tulip poplar, and
And you're not going to center with your notch.
center.
You're not dead center.
No. I never go to center.
Yeah, because it just drills out if you do that.
You end up drilling into the notch if it's in the center. I like my notch to be halfway between the outside of the socket and center. Like literally it stops halfway in between. So, any questions at all? Anybody want to try it? I know everybody's tired. Listen to me talk especially, let alone doing. We didn't do much. What do you need?
No, I said I'll try it again.
You want to try again? What would you like? Pick your poison.
Well, clearly I'm not an expert, so I'm not gonna take the hardest one.
Try Velvet Leaf.
We'll take the Jersey's top 5.
You pick any one you want.
Mullen, is that one?
You want to try Mullen?
Take that way back a little bit. That's it.
And I need some powder.
Look at that.
Alright.
Any questions? Anything else?
That was cool. That was awesome.
Everybody want pictures of anything at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a couple of pictures.
Sure. Whatever you want to take.
Got a trash can for-
That's fine. I got a lot of cleaning up to do.
Bad enough, it's
My wife will point out everything that I do. Anything I do, I should point out. So.
Is it a surprise what she's doing on?
I'm gonna head back, see if I can get to my kid's soccer game here. So Alex, the caretaker, nice to
Sorry,
meet you.
caretaker.
Oh,
Take,
saying it's a
take good
surprise
care.
what you're doing for her? or she
Maybe I'll run
wants-
into
she
you
got
one of these days
planned
down there.
For a while,
For
yeah.
Mother's Day, I mean.
How long you been there?
Since,
Okay.
well, about a year, but I'm staying on for longer than normal.
Was Conrad there before you?
All at healthcare.
And he was there
Sometimes
a
we're
while
given-
before.
Wait.
Our schedules change.
Immediately before me was Sebastian. And
No, we've
Dave
been doing
Mason.
that for like 20 years now. So it's like-
Yeah.
we know the deal. Holidays are not real holidays.
Saxon's there for a
Yeah,
while.
he was there when I was at the Standard. in,
Like we don't count on Christmas and
2019,
being together for Thanksgiving. It's like never.
That sounds right. Where are you living in?
It's just like if we're together,
Me too.
we're together for an hour.
Camping out in the pines by Celeste and
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Where do they live?
Thank you so much for coming down.
It's the same
We
thing.
will talk about
Near
the
the-
sets
yeah,
before you
near
leave,
seafood.
please.
Yeah, really?
It's like not far.
Please
That
let me know.
would be cool. I'm even thinking about the chamois too. Maybe we
I don't know
can
if you're interested.
pieces for
I'm
them
like,
to
yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
trip.
I think they'd freak out to see something like that, right? That'd be
Familiar
something.
with Axon Lake? So Axon
Also, no
to
problem.
the camp is.
And you're welcome back
probably
anytime.
5 hours back. It's a primitive camp.
Take care
You
of
don't
it.
hike or
Yeah, it was
paddle.
nice
Good
meeting you
luck
too.
to you.
They
That was
got
Dave,
a
right?
pump and a
Yes.
couple
Alright.
shitters.
Yeah, nice meeting
You
you.
doing
too.
another
Are you coming back
canoe
to
trip?
another one, or?
Or you talking about the winter?
Perhaps.
Huh?
You're doing a canoe trip?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about the winter one?
No, I want to do one this week or next
Right
week.
now.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Filled up.
And then from there, the next day takes you out to Batsa, which is an old bill.
We'll see.
Another, if you want to go. Do you want to go?
Would it be like a weekend type?
I'd rather go. Are you working yet?
Pools May pretty slammed.
Can you take a day off? A Friday maybe?
Definitely could possibly do that.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. Yeah, I might be